Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today, hike up those pleated pants. We're heading to the Roadhouse. Let's go.
I thought about going to the used store and see if I could find some pleated pants for this episode, but then I decided I didn't want to spend money for one episode.
I was a little disappointed that we didn't all come in our with all the pleats. I mean, all of the pleats.
I think they're all were taken by, fun fact, he wanted to keep his wardrobe, Patrick Swayze.
Really?
But they were not able to make that work for this movie.
Swayze
for some reason
loves the pleats. Okay, that's the number one takeaway from this movie. Welcome in, everybody, to Bad Movies Rule. We're happy that you're here listening with us. We're talking about Roadhouse today, and in the house we've got Mr. Charles Hewitt. How are you, Charles?
I'm a little under the weather, but I don't think I'm infectious.
I was going to say.
I might have weird things coming out of my face, but other than that, we should be good.
As long as there's nothing coming out of your butt.
Yeah, well, thankfully it's not that direction this time around, so we're good.
I was going to say you got some more sultry tones.
I do. I've got my Barry White voice.
Nice, very nice. And this is none other than Mr. Bob Hauser himself in the studio. What's up, Bob?
Bob?
How are you?
I'm great.
That's good.
You ever been to a Roadhouse?
No, I've been to Drifters.
That's not the same thing.
It's still
Okay. All right. Awesome. Great start. So joining us this morning is Mr. Mel Vandy in the house. Mel, what's going on, brother?
I am a changed man.
Literally, like you changed your clothes before you got here, or this movie changed you?
This movie changed me.
Wow. That's some.
Well, I'm excited, guys. This is one of those movies that was voted on by our patrons. So they went on the Patreon and they said, we want Roadhouse. And they pounded the proverbial internet table. And here we are delivering it for them. So I'm happy about that.
It fits our theme.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So let's get some of the vitals out of the way. And then we can just dive straight into this. This movie was directed by some manly dude.
This movie was directed by cocaine, pre-workout, tanning oil, and enough hairspray to light the Olympic flame.
This may have been the actual end of the 1980s. It all
Definitely Bob
flamed
approved.
out right here.
You can almost see the dust around the corners of the frame from the Peruvian dust, so to speak.
Right.
Absolutely. Some of the best tan lines in the business in this movie.
This is definitely one of the most macho
It
movies
is. It's great.
ever. And so that's why I just was like some manly dude directed. And I looked up and the guy's name was Rowdy Harrington.
Rowdy Piper?
Well, that's the only other. Now I know two people named Rowdy.
Rowdy.
And this.
Wasn't Rowdy the guy's name, the friend on one of them kids' books all my kids like? I told you I'm sick.
No idea. I don't know what you're talking
No
You
idea.
can't read my mind?
Yeah, when kids, if I knew what kind of books your kids
That
were
one
reading,
was
that
really
would be
famous
weird.
with all the little
The Roadhouse
sketches.
children's book?
Yeah, the Roadhouse children's book. Patrick Swayze's follow-up
Dude, that's
project
Where Dalton
to this.
bounces a preschool, he stands at the door and it's like,
My
"Right,
kids
can't
will
come
know. This is for you, Million Eli.
This movie's like initiation for young men into adulthood.
No,
Yeah, so-
should not be.
It should be.
Rowdy Harrington. I love it. This is two different worlds clashing together here, and I'm excited to see what happens. There's never, as Charles said when we walked in, never been more of a bod movie we've ever done. Right? This is 100% Bob.
12-year-old me would have had some shocking experiences watching this film.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not saying he probably wouldn't have enjoyed them, but they would have been shocking to him.
So Rowdy Harrington, I just call him Rowdy Harrington.
Why not?
Rowdy Harrington also directed Striking Distance, which you might know. It's a Bruce Willis,
That's a good
Sarah
one.
Jessica
Boat
Parker.
cop movie.
That's right, Boat Cop.
Boat Cop.
And Gladiator.
Die Hard on a boat.
Not Gladiator, the one that you're thinking of, but the other Gladiator, the boxing movie with the kid from
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
and the kid from A Few Good Men.
But Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes, and Cuba
Oh,
Gooding Jr.
I don't know that one either.
The movie was written probably by some other manly dude. Actually,
You'll be surprised there.
it was written by a girl.
Was it?
Right.
Oh, let
wow.
the girls know out there that this movie was
So,
written by a girl.
this is actually-
You see?
Yeah, this is a female empowerment movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of those romance novels.
Oh.
God.
This was
Adapted for
every.
screen.
You know what? Women like this movie as much
Well,
as men do.
You know what's interesting? I got some interesting facts about how poor Patrick Swayze fared on this show with the ladies.
Oh,
He did.
This movie. A lot of female attention that they did not want.
Oh, interesting.
Nor did the production.
well, this movie came 2 years after Dirty Dancing, and so he had become kind of an overnight megastar. I mean, he had already done stuff before that, but that was really the one that catapulted him to like the next level.
Okay.
And so I'm not surprised to find out there was people stalking him on set and
Yes.
things like that. Yeah.
Well, this is
Apparently down the river too.
on the river during that last fight
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just a barge of women that came out
there's a
with
barge
signs.
of women.
They're just like,
I
"Patrick!"
think in the IMDb specifically said they were middle-aged women.
Oh, really? Interesting.
A lot of middle-aged women like Patrick Swayze.
Hey,
His
it's okay.
demographic was
Yeah.
38 to 42.
Yeah, I think
That's right.
so. I think so. Yeah.
Well, that's what he gets for having the time of his life.
That's right. The great Hillary Henkin is the writer for this movie.
Yay.
Thank you.
I was shocked. That was the most
Thank
shocking
you.
thing about the movie when I saw that it was written by a woman.
Thank you.
I wondered if Roddy Piper, director guy, changed some of the lines in the script
Who
on
knows?
production.
It was just a bunch of grunts.
I have a feeling sometimes the writers on set, I feel like for this one, she probably was. That's probably why Swayze was cast. It's probably why she wrote this movie. And then she's like, can I be there?
I just want to see him. I just want to see his. Yeah.
Patrick Swayze comes
She
in
wants to see
shirtless
his Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
and scene.
That's right.
Yeah. That's all we really need is a shot of his backside.
So besides Patrick, this movie starred Sam Elliott,
Yeah, of course.
Kelly Lynch, and a bunch of sweaty dudes.
And,
Can I just
Julie
say,
Michaels.
I really appreciated that there was equal opportunity for fat guys in this movie, and they were reasonably good fighters.
Yeah, buddy, Cat
I
Diesel.
like that. You had
I
good
love
fat
Cat
guys.
Diesel.
You had good fat guys and you had bad fat guys. I like
I
that.
love Cat Diesel.
Each team, the good team and the evil team, both had a good and evil fat guy.
They did, and they were slightly confusing to who's who because they looked very similar.
They had a wide variety of bad guys. They had
did.
used car salesman bad guys. They had bad guys with Cherokee necklaces. They've had
They were
fat
all
bad guys.
white, though.
Whoa. Are you trying to tell me all fat people look alike, Charles?
Well, I used to be a fat person.
Hold on a second. Go back. Did you
No
say they're
one
all
knows
white?
what I look like
no, it's
now.
just they all look alike.
Oh,
No, actually,
What?
they
But
were
I mean,
all
they
white.
also were all
They
white.
were all white.
It's Missouri.
Yeah.
What do you
yeah.
expect?
Keith
I know,
David was
I
the
love how-
bartender.
No, it wasn't. It was Southern California.
I forgot. I'm like,
Keith
Yeah,
David
that was
was the
awesome.
bartender. There was a brother in this movie.
He had
there
the
was.
best line of the movie, though.
We had a whiskey.
all right. So the movie had a budget of $15 million. Okay.
15 million.
And it brought in $62 million in box office.
Why
So
are we reviewing this?
It was
movie?
the rare box office success, at least out of the ones that we have discussed.
And it's got a pretty high IMDb.
And it's 6.6 on IMDb,
Yeah,
right?
So we should
not-
just close the show down right now because it doesn't qualify
There
for
is.
bad movies.
It
rule.
did check one box.
All right, what's the one box?
The critics said it was bad.
Well, okay.
Actually, a lot of,
39% on Rotten Tomatoes.
39.
Yeah, that's true.
I seen
Yeah.
worse.
but then Roger Ebert say, he goes, yeah, it's up to the audience on this one.
He said, yeah,
He
it's a
actually
movie.
said it was a good, bad movie.
He said it was a good, bad movie. He was like,
I think it was pretty accurate. When you go on Rotten Tomatoes, there's that critics consensus, and it said your fondness for this movie will largely depend on your fondness for Swayze and for stupid,
yes,
violent
absolutely.
action, right?
Fair
And
enough.
so
Yeah.
agree.
I think that's
fair.
pretty accurate. But
very accurate.
it's a 66% audience score, and so the audience has said
66.
it's good.
That's pretty high.
Critics said no, it's bad. So we're trying to figure out who's right: the
Now-
critics, the audience.
I think it's true though that it made most of its money after its release in the theaters. Is that correct?
This whole thing is yes, and it's revisionist history. It's a 6.6 now because of people's love for it, because of the Family Guy memes, because of
Okay.
all the things that have come out about it. It's not a 6.6 movie. It's
No.
just not.
But I mean, as far as its box office as well, a lot of that came by video rental and stuff, didn't it?
Well, no, that was actually people going to the
Oh,
theater.
that was theater
Yes.
made that much?
But hey, look, again, it was
I mean,
2
it was,
years
yeah,
after
it was
Dirty Dancing.
Peak Swayze.
And so how many middle-aged women are there in America? And that answers your question.
And they're all
many.
floating on boats down the rivers to see him and showing up in trucks. So I guess, yeah, there was a lot of women that were going to go see Swayze.
Oh, and
Probably some
hopefully,
guys, too.
and I know there's not a lot of women that come to see us, but we appreciate that you're here.
My wife
listening.
sees me every day.
That's true. Well, I meant like the show
Oh, okay.
because I'm transitioning into the
Sorry.
call to action now.
So-
is what
All
I
right.
do.
Oh, right. We're okay with
Do it.
cougars watching the show here.
Yeah.
People are actually watching us.
Yeah, there are people in our new studio.
Our new studio.
So look at this. We did our last episode in the studio, but it was audio only because it wasn't ready yet for your eyes. But here we are, our first episode with everything going. They got the cameras, the lights, the whole 9 yards, the championship belt from Bad Movies Rule. Currently, it says my name on it because this guy got it for me.
It's awesome.
But I guess, a strap is a strap. And if you want to come take the strap, you're going to have to meet me in a steel cage next Saturday night.
It's also hiding my Kleenex box.
All right. Well, that's a little behind the scenes.
Can't give away all the secrets.
We appreciate that you're listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, time to pay the bills.
What kind of bills?
What was I going to say? Oh, thank you.
Electric and gas
Yeah.
are
Water's
down in-
This
important.
place ain't cheap, people. We need your help. Help us.
Sewer.
What have we gotten ourselves into now?
Sewer. Clint takes up a lot of toilet paper.
If you would like to support the show, you can join us on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/badmoviesrule. For as little as $3 a month, you can join and you can have access to bonus episodes. You can vote on, like people voted on Roadhouse. You can vote there on upcoming episodes. You can even see some behind the scenes content. And at certain tiers, you can participate in the show like John Paul Dozier is today. He's going to be helping us
Paul
with
Dozier.
the
That's a good
awards
name.
section. Yeah, it's my guy. So join us if you'd like to have a little more of a VIP experience. Otherwise, if you just like to reach out, email the show. Our email address, as always, is thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. All one word. This show is trash @gmail.com. You can suggest movies. You can just ask us stupid questions. We'll feature your emails, some of them, on our mailbag segments. Also, you can sign up for our email list. You can go to badmoviesrule.com. You can either go to the support tab and sign up through there, or at the very bottom of the homepage. And we will not abuse our inbox privileges. We'll send out email newsletters every month, and you can hear about upcoming items. You can even get some promo codes, some discounts on merch, those kinds of things. So we're also going to be randomly choosing a few people out of the first 100 people that sign up for that email list. And we had a lot through our first week, so
Right.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Cool.
So, you guys ready to dive into this movie?
Yes.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
With here, let's just give you the basic synopsis here. Because
It's 18 for bouncers.
the movie doesn't waste any time trying to not be ridiculous.
Yeah, it opens up with the perfect butt shot.
Well, the whole premise of the movie is resting on this idea that there are famous bouncers.
Yes.
is-
Wade Garrett.
Bouncers in the 80s made
There
a
is a
lot of money,
circuit.
dude.
Like world famous
no.
bouncers.
Yes.
They're not bouncers. They're coolers.
Okay, but I'm just
Coolers
using-
in charge of the lower bouncers. There's apparently a hierarchy in the bouncer world.
We are led to believe
Yes.
that there are bouncers of such fame that regular people know their names, and when they're spoken aloud in hushed whispers and things,
Yes.
and gasps, and they go, oh, "That's Wade Garrett. That's Dalton."
It does make sense that a band might know a bouncer.
Maybe a
'Cause they
band,
probably could really use the help,
but just
especially when you're hiding behind chicken wire.
Mel, who's the most famous bouncer in the country?
You know, it's not just the bouncing industry; it's also in the shoe industry.
Really?
Oh, you famous
Did you know
shoe
this?
people.
We have famous shoe people that come in as closers.
Wow.
Tommy Two Shoes.
Tommy
You know
Two
what?
Shoes.
We're gonna sell these pumps. We
Tommy
gotta
Two Shoes. He will sell you anything. You want to buy, one shoe, he'll sell you two.
Oh wow.
And Barry Bogo,
Yeah.
it doesn't stand for buy one get one free. It's Barry Bogo, buy one get one.
Oh.
You need a sale, he'll get you a sale.
Barry Bogo
sale.
will sell 2 shoes to a one-legged lady.
One-legged.
You go in for one pair of shoes, you get one pair of shoes.
Look at that.
He'll make the sale.
Can't beat that. Okay, so let's suspend our disbelief that there are such a thing as famous coolers and bouncers.
I wonder if there's a journal for bouncers,
What do you mean? Like
like an academic journal.
like a magazine?
Yeah, like a magazine
Trade-
for bouncers. Yeah.
Trade mag?
Trade mag.
Yeah.
For
Playboy.
bouncing.
One of those episodes. Yeah, I mean, that'd be more appropriate for this.
Penthouse.
One of those cutaways to Dalton at the bar. He would have just been reading Bouncers Weekly.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd have been on the cover every week.
He would be, because him and Garrett tied for each episode. I mean, each publication.
They're the only two.
Unfortunately, it's probably, a quarterly magazine now,
Yeah, well,
because the magazine industry's in dire straits.
the movie starts off at some random bar somewhere, and this old guy,
The bandstand.
he needs a bouncer.
You heard the bandstand with all the
classy place.
awesome 80s cars out front?
Great, good for them. The old man shows up, and he's like, I need the best.
Wade Garrett's the best.
Well, Wade Garrett's getting old.
He's still the best.
And so he flew on an airplane to come get this bouncer from this bar.
Which they never say where it is.
No, I'm assuming it's California.
It has to be California.
No. The bar's in New York. His license plate's New York.
Oh, it is.
And he's listening
Well,
to a
but he's-
famous New York radio station.
All right, fine. He goes all the way out to New York to bring him to the Double Deuce. He's opening this place, or it's already been open. He's trying to renovate it, make it look nice.
Because it's in dire shape.
Yeah, and he's like,
That's
this
a
is the kind
great
of-
line in this movie.
What's
though,
that?
When he says what kind of place it is.
Yeah.
If I can find it in my notes. Oh, he says, now it's the kind of place where they sweep up the eyeballs after closing.
Yeah, that's great.
That sounds like
If I'm Patrick
classy
Swayze
establishment.
and I'm in this cool place, I've got it all running well, I'm be like, yeah, no, I'm good.
What kind of guy is Dalton? Dalton's the kind of guy that no-sells a knife wound like it was a mosquito bite.
Absolutely.
Was that a scalpel, by the way?
He's the
I don't know
guy
what
that-
kind of knife that was.
He does dick ups.
Oh, my God.
Who doesn't?
I tried mastering it. I fell every time.
All right. He literally gets
I don't know what that
stabbed.
means. I'm
Okay.
scared to ask.
No, don't ask.
Use your imagination.
He gets stabbed in the first scene. He doesn't even blink. Okay.
No.
And this is their way of establishing, this guy's
He's cool as ice.
Well, pain doesn't hurt.
Oh, cool as
That's
ice.
right. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
okay.
that's a dumb line.
Dalton, let's just talk about Dalton in general as a package, okay? Not his package, but just as a package.
His package is prominent,
It's prominently featured in the film.
but it's not. He's not as big as everyone expected.
No, this is part of my big issue with the home. Now, I had never seen Roadhouse, okay? And I
Never?
know it's a big thing.
I've never
No,
seen it.
I know it's a big cultural thing. I don't know if it's because it's more like because it's a meme and people think it's funny, or they actually literally like it seriously as an action movie, okay? But I went in going, all right, what's this cultural phenomenon that everybody's so excited about?
This is an action movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's a romantic comedy, romance novel / sexual fantasy / action movie. Okay,
It's all the above.
the above. But Dalton is like this tiny little dude. Okay, I don't know. I mean, he's like Patrick Swayze's 5'10". He's a regular guy, but they surrounded him in this movie with giant people, so
Yeah.
he looks tiny.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the hair. I hate Patrick Swayze's hairdo.
Why? It's a secret armor.
The hair makes his face look. It's
The greatest hair of all time.
not.
Apparently, he didn't like the hair either.
Oh, he
In
hated
IMDb,
it too?
he said he didn't like all the hairspray and all the stuff, and there was like they used like equal amounts on him and her.
Every time he walked, his hair would just bounce.
Was it a mullet?
It
Who knows?
qualifies as a mullet.
Is that a mullet? You
That
think?
is a mullet.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
love to have seen him out of the shower just to see how long his actual hair is.
Well, you did.
Note
So
for the
many-
record,
I don't want to see him getting out of the shower.
James has said he wants to see him out of the shower.
No,
Hey,
that's not what I mean.
That's what you
We
said.
can appreciate an attractive male.
Yes.
Yeah, we can. I can appreciate
I don't know if
everything
Patrick
else that came
Swayze
with
did
it.
that. But, and then the pleated pants and the wardrobe. It's just, the whole package it was just so weird to me. And
It was
so
very 1988, I think.
when I've seen a lot of other action heroes from the 80s. It didn't
Wasn't
look
he trying to
yeah.
be like Crockett or one of those guys from what's that Miami Vice show? Was Crockett the white guy?
He was just
Oh, Don Johnson.
Johnson,
oozing
that's the one.
raw machismo throughout the
I
movie.
didn't think there was much machismo out of him.
He was trying to.
Was he? Yeah, I mean, he was a good-looking dude.
This is the
he could
problem.
keep a bar together.
So
He
this
was
is the
very
first time
efficient.
you've ever saw it was a
Yes.
couple days ago.
Yes. How many times have you seen Roadhouse?
I know why.
It's an audio medium, Bob.
This was
There's only listen. Let's just be honest. There's only a few parts Bob have seen over and over of Roadhouse.
I've seen the whole thing. I've seen the whole
parts
thing.
where the tape was worn out.
All right. So this guy
Be
gives
kind, rewind.
this old guy gives Dalton a lot of money to quit the bandstands, $500 a day plus medical expenses.
5,000 up front.
5,000 up front.
Yeah.
And he leaves the bandstand and he's like, I don't fly. It's too dangerous. I'm like,
Yeah, that was dumb.
but it's literally
well,
the safest
he's got a
way to
nice
travel.
a nice Mercedes to drive.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was like a Beamer driving yuppie. He wasn't like a hardcore ass kicking bouncer.
He was a Mercedes. There's a difference.
Okay, I meant that as like a figure of speech, not that it was literally driving a Beamer.
Okay.
I know you. I don't want to
I know.
offend you. I know you drive a Beamer.
But I
But
think
you're-
Beamer people and Mercedes people are different.
Who's better?
Probably Mercedes.
Wow, way to own yourself there, buddy.
Yeah, well, gotta be honest.
All right. So anyway, let's just move on with this. So Dalton gets to the joint, right? It's his first night in the joint in the Double Deuce, and the place is like literally a madhouse.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. There's fights, people breaking glasses.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk is there. I'm like, what's the hardcore wrestling legend Terry Funk doing in this movie?
Oh my God, destroying everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
He's the bouncer that's currently working there. Okay.
Yes, he's absolutely terrible.
Right. And Dalton doesn't do anything the first night he's there. He's just
Just
scoping it out.
observing.
Yeah.
Observing, seeing what's happening.
It's like Gordon Ramsay copied his kitchen nightmares thing from him, like where he just comes the first night and just observes and doesn't do anything before he starts.
Well, he figures out who's selling women, who's selling drugs, who's selling other stuff.
That's what I'm
they shouldn't
saying.
be.
It was as interesting to me as an episode of that television show.
Yeah.
Right. basically the scene is just as a way to introduce all the ancillary characters. Well, most of them, minus the bad guys, in this first scene. All the people he's going to be interacting with for the duration of the movie, like Carrie Ann, the waitress, and the blind guy, the
guitar player.
Yeah.
Which he's
Craig
actually
or
a
whatever
professional
his
musician, and
Healy,
he'd been playing since he was like 3 years old.
Yeah, no,
that was
great.
really impressive.
I like him fine. There's also D Nice, right? She comes up and she's like got the hair.
Oh, Julie Michaels.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
She walks up at one point,
Gorgeous, very gorgeous,
to the bar, and she sees Patrick Swayze there, and she has the natural reaction women do when Patrick Swayze's there. She almost trips and falls on her face. And this is one of the best pickup lines of all time. This guy comes up to her, and I got to imagine this is the first time ever that line didn't work because it's a classic. Right? How about you and me going nipple to nipple?
I mean,
has that never not worked?
10 out of 10 times it works.
Except for this guy.
I mean, if you go on Grass Lake Road in Antioch, it'll work pretty well all the time.
It's a numbers game, man. You just
should be able to work in Antioch, no problem.
Occasionally on this show we give dating advice. Is that one you would add to the list of ways to get women?
I would say that would 9 out of 10 times that's going to work.
That's going to work.
Yeah,
for you.
In certain areas of the country.
Areas of the country.
Or after a certain amount of drinks.
Yeah.
Right. There's all kinds of nonsense going on, and
but after he says that line, Terry Funk literally just destroys the dude.
Well, Terry Funk popped up like a little genie behind him, like, "Oh, what did you just say?
You want to go nipple to nipple?
You say something about nipples in my bar? Get out of the bar! Get out of the bar now! That's right. If you're not drinking." Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that Wade? Is that Terry Funk is Wade?
Mode there.
Yeah, he's the big guy. He used to be
Morgan. He plays Morgan.
Former,
Sorry, my tissue box was
former heavyweight champion.
Screwed up my bit.
That guy had legendary matches with Ric Flair.
No, Terry Funk's the man.
He was a wrestler then.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was one hell of a wrestler. That's for sure.
The other guy I want to highlight this first night is there's a dude apparently selling boob kisses.
Oh, that's my favorite line. One of my favies. I love it.
He literally says
for $20 you want to kiss him?
Kiss him, yeah.
So do you ever see a better pair than this? I'm like, first of all, what's their relationship?
I don't know. I mean, in our day and age, this is totally not cool.
I wouldn't be okay with that. It's like it's like another guy touching Mel's shoes.
You'd be okay with it.
Let's just hope that was a mutual relationship between that man and that woman, and they were partners, not sex trafficking.
Oh my god! So then the guy walks up and tries to touch him. He goes, "You can kiss him. I ain't got $20."
Yeah, that was. Why aren't you gonna kiss him? The problem. What's the problem?
Could they have hired someone that's touched a breast before in their life? And this guy was like milking a cow or something. I don't know exactly what was happening.
That was some bad acting.
He was
and then I was really uncomfortable of him feeling her up. Like, it was super, what is going on? This is
super uncomfortable.
I mean, that was one of the best minutes of the whole movie.
Well, that line was great.
I
ain't got 20
in his notebook, this is the best 45 seconds so far.
Check mark.
When you watch it 3-4 times.
Yes. Thank God for Netflix. I can just rewind 10 seconds.
So in the intervening day, Dalton, he leaves his first night there, and he goes and he does some very specific things showing that he's done this before. He goes and he buys a car.
It's a Buick Riviera.
Beautiful car.
I'm sure in its heyday, it was probably great.
And it's the only year, 1965, they have those clamshell lights, which
the ones that open up.
I thought that was pretty clever. I'm like, why is he buying tires? And then that was pretty good. That paid off. That whole car thing paid off well.
Oh, absolutely.
And you realize when he was going to go to Jasper, he drives up in a Riviera.
Yes.
And you're like, why does he have this piece of junk car? He gives it to the guy.
Because he's got a Mercedes.
Yeah. And so you're like, well, that's kind of weird. So I thought that was pretty clever. They paid that off pretty well.
No, that was good. He basically knows that every single night his car is going to get the tires slashed, the windows busted out.
Yes.
And so he buys a piece of crap car and stores his Mercedes.
It's smart.
Here's the awkward part, though. Do you think he called the number for a good Buick on the wall? so maybe the car dealership kind of misunderstood why he was there, and that's why it was awkward.
That was a good cover. When he got his pen out, I was like, okay, how's he gonna change this?
That was pretty good.
This, it said, for a good time, but he didn't say time.
Yes.
Call this number, and he was able to change the word. That was pretty.
So I wonder if that's where he got his car from, and that's why the guy looked at him funny.
That guy's like,
maybe.
Why do people keep calling me for Buicks?
Here for Buicks.
Yeah, so he buys a beater. He buys all these tires.
Why are all these guys breathing so heavy on the phone?
He rents.
They're asking about Buick.
Yeah.
You got a Buick for sale, silver night.
I was to understand there'd be Buicks here.
You got the one with the uncovered headlights.
Does it have leather and terrier, please? Come on now.
How's the tailpipe on this one?
Oh my God.
So the next thing Dalton does is he goes and he rents a room from Farmer Emmett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emmett.
Who is awesome, by the way.
Emmett's
you
great.
don't
Looks
know
like
about
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You don't know
I
about
love
Emmett?
Emmett.
I don't know about Emmett.
What is it about Emmett? that
What's
you
wrong
don't
with
like?
Emmett?
I mean, Emmett's fine as a man. He's obviously got some issues with his neighbor.
Oh, for sure.
What, wouldn't you?
If someone kept
Well,
a
yeah.
helicopter
If-
over
yeah.
your property and just crazing up everything,
My problem with Emmett was he was a really bad actor.
I mean, it doesn't take
I thought
much.
you had a problem with the character.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No,
'cause
the
if-
character's fine, but he did not convince me he was a real person called Emmett.
I got it.
If you don't have a problem with that neighbor, you are that neighbor.
Well, that's true.
I did think
My
so.
neighbor had problems with him.
Basically, how this works is Emmett's got this horse farm, and right across the river is where we find out this is where the bad guy lives, Brad Wesley, who we're about to see for the first time. Also,
Yes.
Whoa, he's not the bad guy.
in the movie presents him as such. Whether you agree or not is up for debate, I suppose.
He was just trying to keep the town clean.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
He's
All
running
right.
a charitable organization.
All right, my bad. What a guy. Mm-hmm. And you know what?
It's not his fault stuff blows up.
Tell you what, this,
can't put
this
me
right
there.
here is why you don't screw with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, it's true.
So
He's the reason we have HOA.
Dalton basically rents this room, which is a loft inside of a barn. There's no TV, there's no electricity, there's nothing.
But you think about the moonlight that
There was
comes into that room during night.
There's electricity.
That is why he wanted the place,
Yeah,
right? He said
the
these
moonlight.
windows are the perfect angle for me to wake up in the morning with my butt out, and the moonlight will hit it perfectly. And this is why. I
And
wanted
so
this place.
Wesley can watch me make it with his former girlfriend,
Ex-wife.
With
Yeah.
the best tan lines in
right.
the business.
former wife. Oh yeah, they were
Yeah,
married.
that's right.
Amy.
So, and it also establishes now that Dalton is going to live basically right across the river from
For $100 a month.
$100 a month.
Only because
Wow.
the Presbyterians would pray
I
for his
did not.
ruination.
I did not get that joke.
No, he just said that I guess the Presbyterians are a little stingy with money. They want
Maybe.
they want that cash.
I don't know.
I'm
Is
not
that what it was? That
Presbyterian,
he's going
so
to
I
give
don't know.
an offering to him. Is that what it was? I
yeah, I
didn't
don't
get
know.
the joke.
He said, I'll pay you if it keeps you in the good graces of the church." He says, "Isn't it funny how money tends to do
Yeah,
that?"
I didn't get that joke.
Now, I guess you had to be at a Presbyterian church
Yeah,
to get
maybe.
that.
I do want to have a question, though.
Okay.
I
yeah.
do want to have a question.
You do wanna have a question?
Why don't you have a question?
Go ahead and have one. Yeah.
Sorry. I like cornflakes.
I'm okay with him having.
All right. What furniture company kept supplying that bar with furniture? I would have cut my contract and tore it the F up. I would have came in with the 10th bar stool and been like, no more.
Bro, by the time that first scene was over, every table.
Everything.
was
Every
gone.
Yes.
table. He broke half a table with the guy's face.
Right. Dalton comes in the next day for the first team meeting, and there's all new tables.
All new tables.
They never showed the
efficient.
AM delivery
Yeah.
of the tables.
The table maker in that town is a billionaire.
That furniture company. I want to be a furniture guy in that
just
Kansas City,
Raking it.
Missouri.
The truck drivers that deliver the tables are driving Mercedes.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I'm in the furniture business in Wisconsin.
They just line up night before, get ready.
I just
for the
kept thinking
morning.
about that. I'm watching all these tables get destroyed. I'm like, man, this furniture bill has to be really high.
Expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so Brad Wesley flies in on his helicopter. That's his introduction. So he's an a-hole because he has his own helicopter, right? That's
Yep.
kind of what the movie's. Look, this is a rich guy. He's the villain, and we don't really need to find out too much about him though till later. What has to happen first is one of the most important and also dumbest scenes in the entire movie, which is the first team meeting.
Team
where
meeting.
Dalton addresses
Yep.
the team.
Got to get them all together. Get them on the same page. Good
he's-
leadership here.
And he starts by he's sitting up on the steps and he's dressed and he looks like he's about to start like a Bob Fosse dance number, like up on the railing.
He's thinking about getting ready to go up against Chris Farley at Chippendales.
It was that same kind of, and I think that's probably my reason that I had a hard time buying Swayze in this movie is he looks like a dancer. He is a dancer. He's got a dancer's physique, and he dresses like one.
Never
at times.
underestimate your opponent.
I know. All right, so yeah, thank you, Bob. First he fires two people. He fires Terry Funk and the drug lady.
John Taffer stole this idea from Roadhouse. You ever watch Bar Rescue? It's hilarious. He lines everybody up and fires the crappy workers.
Like, you're fired.
He Roadhouses them.
He should, in the show, you should go, you just got Roadhouse. Awesome.
Why wasn't it Hulk Hogan in this movie?
I don't know.
Or William Safka? Or Nick Cage?
Fired, it's very important. The 3 rules. Dalton has 3 rules. He said, 1, everybody has to wear pleated pants.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? And I don't know where you're going to get them. This town is sold out. I bought them all. So you figure it out. He cleaned out. I'm like, dude, leave some pleats for the rest of us, Dalton.
And snakeskin boots.
Pleats.
You got all of them, bro.
You got all the snakeskin boots.
So rule number 2.
Shirts optional.
Shirts are optional. Baby oil. Stock up on it. Use
That's
it.
right.
You need it.
Got to have it. And number 3, dance.
4th rule, hairspray.
That's ridiculous. No, okay, so the actual 3 rules, and it's funny because he gives the 3 rules, and it's prefaced by this guy saying, what are we going to do, man? Because most of us can't take any of these guys one-on-one, or even two-on-one.
Two-on-one, yeah.
And he goes, don't worry. Just follow the 3 rules. And then he proceeds to give him 3 rules that do not solve this guy's problem in any way, shape, or form.
Be nice.
Wait, didn't you watch the
If
movie?
a guy spits in your face and stabs your mother in the forehead, you be nice.
If
a guy said
my mama a whore.
Is your mama or is she? That was a great line.
There's one thing I do want to address. Why are all the other bouncers so angry? Like the guy that said, what if my mom's a whore? And he gets so like, just throws the paper.
Yeah, I
like,
don't know.
Why?
That's
Like
the-
all these guys are all like,
because they're getting their butts kicked every single night.
with the Warriors. They're so amped.
I know
like,
why.
Why are you guys
I know
so
why. I know why.
angry?
They're taking their pay to fix the tables. And they're like, man, we can't handle any more of this. The table money.
You said it was cocaine and pre-workout.
That's a lot of cocaine and pre-workout.
All these guys
That's
were
a lot.
these guys were just jacked out of their minds, bro. They got the veins. Like it's a morning meeting, and this guy's veins popping on his
Why
neck.
are they still working there? That's what I want to know. What makes you stay in a place like that?
Was Xanax
medical
invented?
All right,
well, he does pay medical. That might be a reason.
the first rule is actually don't underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected, which is
Expect the
1B, 1A, and 1B, I guess.
Yeah, I thought there really was 2 there. I was confused a little.
Rule number 2 is take it outside. Okay.
Yeah.
And rule number 3 is be nice.
Be nice.
Eat until it's time to not be nice. But it never they never follow these rules. First of all, they don't always take it outside. At no point are any of them nice to any of the people that are causing problems. I don't see the be nice rule be implemented not once in the movie.
Well, he tried to be nice with the girl on the table.
And he walked up. He goes, "Hey, can you get her?" Punched right in the face.
Well, he didn't punch. Someone punched him.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they were nice. They got punched.
But
that,
every other time.
Well, then rule 2 is
Yes,
He
there's
actually
lots
gave
of
him like
tools.
3 tries. You
Yeah.
know, he walked back up.
He gave him
got
2
hit.
tries.
Yeah, he gave him 2 tries, and then he went. Patrick Swayze walked over, smashed his face.
Patrick
on the table.
Swayze was like punch first, ask questions later in almost every single situation. In this
Absolutely.
movie. He didn't follow his own rules.
He doesn't have to.
Do
He's
as
the boss.
Do as I say. Don't do as I do.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's why he's the cooler. I'm cooler than you.
his
Exactly.
first
I get to punch.
I thought one of the most self-reflective moments in the movie was during this
yes.
speech.
Oh, tell me.
When he reviews the status of the Double Deuce at this point.
Yeah.
And he says this. He says, people who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse.
It's true.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here. Too many 40-year-old adolescents, felon, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
Bob's friends. Yeah.
And I thought
Describing
the
the watchers of the movie.
40-year-old adolescence is perfect because from the night before and the fight before, I kept thinking to myself, why are these guys all acting... Oh, you're kidding already. The boobs. I'm going to go to see boobs. Yeah. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? He's stunted in 12 or something? What happened to him? So, yes, I think that's probably the most accurate.
Did you stop liking boobs?
Yeah,
When you hit
no.
40?
But I also probably wouldn't act that way.
Bob, this is 2022. We're not allowed to like boobs
I would-
anymore.
I would
Oh,
say,
I did find out they are. Hold on, I did find out one thing. They are.
They're not even real anymore.
I did realize one thing when I watched this movie. There are 3 genders:
Oh, I'm gonna
male, female, and gods.
odds.
Wait, who's the third? Who fits in the third one? The guy.
No, Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Gods.
The gods
Sexy
among men.
God.
Gods among men.
All
All right. So
All right.
you
Give
do
him a
see it. You do see a little bit of.
That didn't hold up, man.
You do see a little bit of his philosopher side coming out, right? Which is an interesting twist on the action hero.
Yes.
Is, you know,
Not
he
interesting
says, what if he
enough.
calls you? He says some nice names. He says, it's 2 words put together to elicit a designed
Yes.
response, right?
That's pretty relevant. I mean, it's right.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
thought
And then
that
the
was
line
actually
is,
good.
well, what if someone calls my mom a whore? Well, is she?
Well, is she?
Yeah.
It's right. It's like somebody says, like, I don't like your blue hair. I'm like, well, I don't have blue hair.
And?
You're like, then why does it bother you?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's
really
if you're
good
not
advice.
one of those things, if your mother's
We
not
should
a
use
whore,
this at youth group next week.
yeah, there you go. That's some
How many
words.
young men get involved with stuff just because of words?
That's right, guys. We talked about some 40-year-old adolescents this week. Let's talk about
That's right.
All right. So his first night on the job, once they open back up, he fires 2 more people. He fires pervy dude in the walk-in cooler
Yeah,
or wherever
that
he was.
scene, can I just say, was
Yeah.
far more graphic than I needed.
It definitely wasn't necessary.
That
Well,
was
you
like
just-
all of a sudden Roadhouse softcore porn.
It was like Cinemax. I'm like,
Yeah.
did this? Is this still Netflix or did
Yeah.
this change to Cinemax?
Did the woman writer write that?
No, yeah, she had to have.
I don't know.
Like I said, romance novel.
Yeah, maybe.
Dalton walks in on this guy in the walk-in with this girl that literally just came
On the
in.
beer, of course. Why can't you guys just do it on the bread? Why on the beer?
Because he's a gentleman.
Why on the beer?
I don't know.
What about a
She-
Cabernet? Find anything else in there. Jalapeno
That's right.
Do you
poppers.
think there's
It's
anything
so
else in there other than beer? I don't know.
Frozen pizza. You have to do it on the beer.
So
That's a little
tacky.
cold for
And we don't
frozen
even know she didn't come in with an ID either. That's
Came
the
with a
other-
Sears credit
came with a
card.
Sears
He
credit
said,
card.
"Oh, he's my friend." Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
All
at
right.
least she was 18 then.
It was his
Yeah.
friends. Anyway, then he fires the bartender who's skimming off the top.
Uncle Rico.
The guy, yeah, that played Uncle Rico.
Bucktooth guy.
His name was Pat, and he find out he was actually working, or he's the nephew of the bad guy, Brad
yeah.
Wesley, right? So that kind
How
of
many
goes back to
nephews of famous bad guys, and how often does it work out for them?
we find out pretty soon that Brad Wesley kind of controls the whole town, and everybody, even people that are working at the Double Deuce, are really working for him, right? And he's got his hands in everybody's cookie jar, so to speak.
He's taking his 10 to 20%
Right.
protection money.
Now, this movie jumps around a lot. Half the scenes are meaningless. So as we go through some of these scenes, like we're back to the bar for 5 minutes and nothing happens. Then in this case, now we cut back to Dalton waking up and Carrie Ann, who's the waitress, who literally this is like her second scene, and then she disappears for the rest of the movie.
Apparently she had a whole lot more. This was a 3-hour movie.
Oh, was it? They cut all her stuff
cut
out?
all her stuff
Well,
out.
you could tell because after the scene, she was
She's
basically
never in
like,
it. And I thought earlier
was
in that
singing.
first bar
yeah, but
fight,
she never had any more dialogue.
that first bar fight, I'm like, forget Dalton, hire Carrie Ann. She can handle herself.
Right? And she brings him breakfast, and this is where he gets out of bed. He gets up out of bed, and he's straight up naked. And Carrie Ann almost has a stroke.
Well, yeah, that's why she brought him breakfast. She goes, if I get him at between the hours of 9 and 10 a.m., I might be able to see some side penis, some side shaft.
But then he goes ass to jeans immediately, which he doesn't care about chafing, and it introduces
Yeah.
one of like the running themes in this movie, which is no one's wearing underwear
It's Commandos.
in the entire film.
Oh, I thought it was going to be, I thought you were bigger.
No, well, there's that too. I don't know. Thankfully, we didn't have to find out, okay? But honestly, no one's wearing drawers in this whole movie.
It was the 80s.
It was wonderful.
Oh, is that what the 80s was, the no drawers decade?
Can
Yeah.
We can ask our mom.
Can I just say
Call
that
mom and find out.
there's a
All right.
fun fact about that, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So apparently he insured his crotch with 2 companies.
His crotch?
Yes. And there was one point on set, James. There's one point on set.
The hell does it matter?
There's one point on set where he's like, "Oh, my junk's hurting," and it turned out he had accidentally put 2 pairs of underwear on.
Does your wife know about your search history?
It's all IMDb, man.
Okay.
So
I don't
how
know.
does
Imagine-
Patrick Swayze end up with 2 pairs of underwear? And methinks there could have been some extracurricular activity going on with maybe white powder or too much alcohol
All right.
or
Imagine
dance juice. I don't know. What do they do in that world?
Imagine you're working at an insurance firm, just trying to do your dang job, and you get a call up, and Patrick Swayze wants to get a quote on one of his nuts, and how much that, and like,
This is Jake from State Farm.
how do you like to get that phone call?
You're in good hands.
What's your good
Like a good neighbor, State Farm.
What actuary table are you using to figure that the value of Patrick Swayze's nuts? I don't know.
Doesn't Halle Berry insure her booty?
Hey, who knows? Now they maybe have more of a.
I know Kim Kardashian does, but I would.
I mean, if you're not wearing underwear, it's probably a good thing to have insurance.
All right,
At least liability.
The next couple of scenes are utterly meaningless. Like, oh, there's a party across the river. There's Patrick Swayze literally running around running errands. I mean, It's all meaningless.
Oh, well, actually, a fun side note: the gentleman that operates Red's auto parts store is actually one of a very old friend of Elvis Presley in real life.
Yeah, I read that. That was weird.
Yeah.
His name is Red too in real life.
Yeah, Red West.
He had a different last
He
name.
was
but
part of Presley's Tennessee Mafia. I think that was
Interesting.
kind of like a little band gang they had going.
At one point during these pointless scenes, the bad guy rides his 4-wheeler to the end of his yard, just 3-wheeler, thank you, just to watch Swayze glisten in the sunlight while he's working out or whatever. And I'm like,
Hold on, are you talking about one of the greatest scenes, the martial art practice in the sun?
you think that's
You
one of the
hated this movie?
greatest scenes?
Yes, it's great. It's an iconic scene.
It's literally him doing like
Yes, he's
karate chopping the
practicing,
air.
flexing. Look at the baby oil. Look at the
Flexing.
definition. He looks like a Greek statue.
He has one of the weirdest bodies and physiques.
He has
out
a
of
great
any-
physique.
He does, yeah, like he's toned, but he's so like literally you can see up under his rib cage. There's no muscle there. He just is too skinny to be.
But he's
built.
muscular. He's toned.
He has no chest.
He's toned.
The guy has not done. If you stand up there's a couple times where he's profile while he's shirtless to camera, and it's literally just like his sternum. Okay, there's just nothing there.
Touch my chest.
Well, you are brothers, so I suppose.
Touch one. Touch one.
I don't.
I'll flex.
You're going nipple to nipple with him. Be careful. What's happening?
Now that's a chest.
Yes.
Yes.
Swayze doesn't have as much as you do.
I disagree.
I have a lot of bones when you touch mine. Do you want to do that?
I'm good.
Okay.
He has a nice chest.
Charles has the Swayze chest.
So does that.
Okay.
Show me your chest, Charles.
All right, we're good.
No, it's okay.
No,
We're all men here.
All right.
Scared of my chest.
If your neighbor was out there doing that, you're telling me you wouldn't stand there and kind of go, what the hell is he doing?
I guess, but
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that do a lot of weird things. Yoga outside, Pilates outside.
He insured his groin for $3 million.
what's the weirdest thing you've done outside, Bob? Don't answer. I'm just kidding. How much was it?
$3 million.
Good Lord. All right. Patrick goes back to the bar. Pat, the bartender he fired, comes back, wants his job back. They're in the office, trying to shake down. There's like 4 dudes trying to shake down the owner.
This is when we find out that Wesley has a bunch of goons.
Yeah, lots of them.
Let's take a look at these goons. One looks like an investment banker.
Yeah.
One
I was
guy-
shocked when that guy started fighting. I'm like, he's like the attorney. What's he
He
doing?
looks like the attorney. He just looks like a scum. And then you got
big
you got
fat
Cat
guy?
Diesel. You got Cat Diesel, the big fat guy.
We got the fat guy.
And then you got Bucktooth guy who pulls out the most obnoxious knife.
Thing is huge.
Like, where did this come from?
He had a huge knife that he couldn't hit anything with, and when he would swipe at Swayze, he would do it like he'd like short arm it because he didn't want to actually hit him, and it
Yeah.
looked ridiculous.
Yeah, it was tight quarters and poor choreography right there.
Yeah, for sure. But he does end up getting cut during this fight, and they defeat the 4 guys. But this is where he has to go to the hospital, and we meet the love interest,
Kelly Lynch.
which within a minute of you see like, oh, the hot blonde doctor,
So-
this is going to be the love interest for the movie.
So, to give the movie its props and continuity,
Yeah.
I was a little confused. In the first scene where he gets cut, he does his own sewing.
yeah.
And this one, he goes to the hospital. Well, the reason was because he got insurance from the Double Deuce.
Oh, that's
so
right.
He
The
could
guy's
go to
paying
the
his medical
hospital to
expenses
get the
now.
medical expenses taken.
And he carries his medical record along with
I actually, some people I know do that because the medication lists and the medical history is so long, it just saves time. He's
It's not
right.
like he'd been stabbed 9 times.
Yeah, there's like a list of
shot
crazy
twice.
things. Yeah.
All kinds of other
31 bones broken.
things. Yeah, that's.
That's crazy.
He said, "Do you ever win any fights?"
He
Just nobody wins fights.
That's right.
See that he's flexing every time.
He's a philosopher.
Oh, you mean when he had his arm up, like he's like, "You want to smell my Old Spice swagger?"
Yeah.
Like he had the arm up because it's on his rib cage, and she's got to stitch it up. And this,
like horse like James
That's
says,
the
he's
pain
sucking it
line.
in. So he's
Yeah,
sucking
so-
it in like this.
You want pain?
she tries to give him pain meds. She's like, "I'm going to give you a local anesthetic." She's going to stitch him up,
Yeah,
like
no, I
regular
don't
human
need that.
beings.
I don't
She
need that.
injected a low potion in there.
And he says no, and she says why, and he says, "We got to talk about this, guys. This deserves discussion.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Pain don't hurt."
What does that mean? He's such a brilliant philosopher that he's this high above us.
I don't. Socrates and Plato could have
Plato.
spent
No.
hours discussing
Yes.
this.
That's why he's a god.
Right?
Sorry.
Pain don't
Now,
hurt.
I've been on board with some of his philosophy. Nobody wins fights. Elicit response or to elicit responses. That's some of that stuff, right?
Yep.
But pain don't hurt. Doesn't make any damn sense.
No, I don't know. Is he referring to that sort of almost talked about problem he had with the girl where he murdered someone to protect her, and that's kind of hurt, or is he just really doesn't have pain problems?
But pain, by definition, is hurt. Like if you
Yeah.
don't feel
I
the
don't know.
pain, if it doesn't hurt, then you don't have pain.
I know. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, pain don't hurt.
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon dwelling on this, thinking, ruminating.
Yes.
How
Please,
deep that is.
someone leave a
Pain
comment.
don't
Okay.
hurt.
Explain to me what the hell that means.
I think he also grimaced when she did the staples because he's like, oh,
He
wait,
did.
this actually does
totally
hurt.
did. He totally did.
Like, ow. Maybe okay, go ahead, give me that local now.
She did have
Oh, you mean you're putting staples in?
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
She did have the something about Mary hairdo going.
She did.
He's like, oh, I just thought we were putting those steri strips on, not actually stapling.
pain
Give me
doesn't hurt,
that.
but staples
yeah,
do.
staples do.
All right. Anyway, back at bad guy headquarters, they're like, "Yeah, we have a monster truck. Shut up if you don't like it."
Hey, what's up with the monster
introduced-
truck? They're just driving that thing around.
Randomly.
Then we're introduced to one of the greatest henchmen ever, Marshall Teague.
Marshall Teague as
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
With
And
the Cherokee necklace.
the tribal neck.
Love it.
He's got the same hair as Swayze. I'm like, this guy's like,
Except like Jufro-ish. He's kind of like Jufro-ish going.
remember Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yes.
He's like Nega Scott, but for Dalton. Right? You know what I'm saying? This is
much.
Nega
Yes.
Dalton is Jimmy.
Absolutely. 100% agree. But he has the best cut-off sleeve jean jacket
Oh,
on.
and he's wearing a cross in his right ear too.
Yeah.
Right? A big
Oh.
giant cross ear.
well, he's obviously a religious man.
obviously
He's internally
He's a man of the
conflicted.
cloth.
Yeah. Yeah.
he's a man.
Maybe he's that Presbyterian they were talking about. If you don't give pay
He's the
rent.
Presbyterian's
Yeah,
muscle.
yeah.
He's their muscle.
Yeah, maybe. He works
Right?
for the church.
I don't care. He's the best. He's
The deacons over there will call him up and say,
Seriously.
"Go get Emmett."
He'll
Maybe
get
he
in it.
is the church.
Maybe.
He'll meet up with Dennis Hopper from Waterworld.
Meanwhile, what kind of guy is Dalton? He's the kind of guy that wears a karate gi tucked into his jeans.
I was wondering about that. Wasn't that a gi?
Yeah,
Yes.
It looked like
It
it.
looked like, I'm like, is that a gi or is that a really bad Armani shirt?
Two different scenes. He's wearing a gi tucked into his tight jeans so tight. I think they're inverting his skin like into itself.
That might have been the day he was
He's
wearing 2 pairs of
absorbing the
underwear.
jeans. He's absorbing the jeans.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
The
harnessing
jeans
the power.
are part of him. They have to be peeled off.
I hope they're stretched because how else would he do the kicks and stuff?
Think about all the women that were in wardrobe getting him ready.
Oh, man.
That's what happened. He said, so he
God
goes, what
bless
size
him.
are those
And
tweets?
when people say women weren't treated fairly, they were treated very fairly.
They got to be around Patrick.
Patrick Swayze. Come on. A lot of very awesome looking dudes.
Right? How many women got the script and they saw they'd have to take their tops off and like, I'm not doing this. And they're like,
Sam Elliott.
Oh, I'm sorry, wait. Swayze's in the movie?
Oh, no problem.
All right, call my agent.
Call my agent. Absolutely.
I'll sign me up.
We want it.
Is Sam Elliott and
Stupid.
Patrick Swayze here? Absolutely.
All right, this guy with a knife boot comes into the.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that
Let's
guy.
talk about
that
knife boot guy.
who looks like Mr. Woods from Antioch Community High School.
And then, so again, 4 new goons this time come in. Their whole purpose is to cause problems.
Yeah.
One of them is the guy that looks like Mr.
He
Woods.
does. He
from
walks
Maniac.
in. He's wearing the Letterman jacket or whatever he's wearing. He's got the slick back, dumb looking hair, and he's chewing gum like his life depends on it, like every jackass gym teacher ever
There's
did.
like 6
Hey,
people in
guys,
the country are going to get this joke.
We're appreciating
Okay.
your brotherly reminiscing here. That's good. That's
Hey.
good.
Sorry, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Woods can.
There's another guy, one of the other 4 goons. I don't know who the actor's name is, but he's like the guy that plays a football coach in every football movie that's ever been made. Is like one of the other dudes.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And they don't even make it, barely make it in the door, and they block it off like, we're closed.
This is one of my favorite lines here.
What are all these people here for? They're dancing and having a good time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're here for. You're too stupid to have a good time.
Drags him out by his knife boot.
Yeah, he grabs his boot. Yeah, he does.
How does he see the knife boot from 40 feet away?
40, it's probably like 400 feet
He
away.
is the best cooler.
He knows what he's doing.
Knows what
Left
he's
foot.
doing.
He turns
Experience.
to Chunky McGee over there,
Yeah.
and he's just
I love
like
Chunks.
Chunks, whatever his
Chunks
name.
is. We're gonna call him
like-
Chunks.
It's like right foot doorway.
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 That's right. And then they go beat each other up. And they're all excited because they win in the end.
That's right.
Like, hey, we want to fight.
They go out and they take it outside. All right, rule number 2.
Yeah, got it outside this time.
Kelly Lynch shows up dressed in a tablecloth, and
Yeah, she definitely poked holes
Yeah,
in the
those were some very
tablecloth.
late 80s clothes she had on.
they go on a date.
There's a couple scenes where they're commenting on her posterior, and I'm like, how can you see it through?
I'm gonna say this right now.
I know, right?
Like,
In the parachute pants she was wearing.
Yeah, I'm like,
right?
Kelly Lynch does not win the Carrie Hauser Hot Babe Award.
No?
No, Julie Michaels does.
Already, you're just going to let the cat out of the bag.
Absolutely.
You know how many people just clicked off the episode
Seriously,
because
it's
they were
over
just
for
waiting
them.
around to
Just
find out
waiting.
who the Hot Babe Award
Well,
was
we still
gonna
get
be.
to find out who
Stick
the hot
around to
guy
find out who
is.
the Hot Dude Award goes to. So
He's got a lot of options on that one.
Lots of options.
absolutely.
It's gonna be one of the fat guys, isn't it?
Hey, I got your
Probably.
back.
They're pretty
I
hot.
got everyone's back.
All right, so they go out to a diner and they have their first kind of, typical movie date where they just exchange completely inane, pointless dialogue. And she drives him back to his car, which has a stop sign like impaled
That was
through.
hilarious. I love that.
The whole stop sign is
That's right.
I love the recurring themes with that car were awesome. That was probably one of my favorite parts of that movie.
One of the funniest things to me is the next scene. Dalton is just like, I don't know, having a nap on the hood of his car outside of Emmett's farm, and these bad guys roll up, and they're like, "We've been looking for you." I'm like, "Would you swim across the river?" Like, he's right here. It's like, Mr. Wesley wants to see you. They literally lives across the. Like, you can see their house from each
true.
other. Where you been, boy?
Why wouldn't they? Would they take a boat?
I don't know.
Frustrating to be that close and have to drive around.
Wait,
Yeah.
a second question. If someone came up to you and said, if you saw a giant fat guy like that, like Cat Diesel, and a lawyer-looking guy like that get out of the car and say, "You're coming with us, let's go." I'm like, "No, you can eat my whole butt. I'm not going anywhere."
No.
Yeah. Hey, no, I'm not going anywhere.
So later on, when we do our new segment, what would you say? Bob is gonna say, no.
Eat my butt.
All right. Well,
That might be dangerous for Patrick Swayze.
it's made out of concrete. What are you going to eat? Chip a tooth. All right. Something I didn't think I'd be talking about today. All
Better
right.
like baby oil.
That's where the concrete mixers came from at Culver's.
All right. So he goes over there to the guy's house.
Only
I don't
chocolate.
know. He runs across the water or whatever, and he meets with Brad Wesley. And Brad Wesley's like, "Oh, I'm rich. Come work for me." And he's like, "No, I hate you." And
Yeah,
like,
what was that all about? It's just random. He's got a bar he needs to work at now.
Well, he's just trying to buy him off,
just
right?
seems
And he's like,
stupid.
"J.C. Penney is coming here because of me. Show him some respect."
Okay, so here's where I have an issue with how much money this guy could have made in this town.
Yeah.
Because it didn't seem like a very large town.
No.
And he's getting like 20% off each store owner. Mm-hmm. I mean, Red probably did okay, but I'm not thinking Red's,
Right, that's like $40. I'm
tens of
guessing,
thousands
right?
of dollars a month. Sales may, I don't know, probably not.
All right, so he's mad when earlier when he tries to shake down Red for his money. He's mad
Right.
he didn't get his $40.
So how does he make this much money off of this little town of Jasper?
J.C. Penney, Charles?
I mean, that's true.
He is also part of the liquor district.
Oh, that's true. He has some
Yeah.
kind of control
And,
over liquor distribution.
How do you know you're rich, man? When you're a mover and a shaker with J.C. Penney,
Yeah, that's true.
right? That's how you
And you
know.
got
This
an
is 80s
abused girl in your living room dancing to loud music.
Yeah, why in God's name? Why would you?
Yeah, so we see D Nice, the girl that tried to hit on Swayze at least 3 other times in this movie,
Yeah.
is actually his girlfriend, but she's got all these bruises and
Yeah.
stuff on her face, which is another plot line they just never follow up on.
No, they never follow up
They
on
just
that.
leave it
never-
Well,
dangling.
they just show he's a bad guy. He beats
I know,
women.
but-
I thought Jimmy was actually her boyfriend or guy.
No, Jimmy
Handler.
just
Jimmy was the
worked for-
handler.
He was
Yeah,
the
he was
handler
just the
for her?
handler, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Jimmy or
Because-
Brad beat her up.
Because earlier when Denise went up to Dalton and I don't know, suggested a fun evening out, Jimmy was the one that grabbed her and
Yeah,
pulled her
that's
away,
right,
right?
that's
And was
right,
like,
yeah.
You'll probably say Jimmy did it.
yeah.
yeah,
And he even said later, "Get your dog on a leash."
Right.
yeah.
So
He was nice in that scene.
Oh, yeah. And so what follows, guys, is the scene they had to dust off Kenny G's clarinet for.
Absolutely. They had to pad up Kelly Lynch's backside.
I know there was
about-
a rock wall that her head was hitting, and I'm like, that can't be comfortable.
That was very athletic. You know?
Yeah.
Let's
and
see.
logistically impossible, by the way.
All right, so he has.
Wasn't wearing any drawers.
So the people know. I'm telling you, it's a running theme in this movie. No one has drawers on.
She has one of the best tan lines, though.
All right, Bob.
God bless America. And
Just so we know what exactly we're talking about here, Doc comes over to Dalton's house. Okay, Emmett's sleeping. I don't know where he's at. It's just the two of them up in the barn loft. And he puts on a song, and I can't. Now, as I sit here, the song is escaping me.
Careless Whisper.
No, but it was.
Should have been.
It should have been. It was a song that was also playing during a romantic scene in Dirty Dancing. They straight
I
up
heard about that.
reused a
Yes.
song.
Yes.
Was it?
From his,
Yeah.
almost like Swayze turned on. He's like, "Yeah, you ever see Dirty Dancing?"
That was pretty big.
I'm kind of a big deal. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah.
Wasn't the
It
song?
made a lot of money. It was a big deal.
Wasn't the song Between a Rock and a Hard Place?
And so she loves it, and Swayze's into it, and then it's on like Donkey Kong. I don't know how else to say it other than that. And that there's this like cobblestone rock wall, which seems like the worst thing you'd ever want to do, at least for her. And all I'm saying is, by the end of the night, I'm pretty sure she was
My wife
concussed.
tried to do that, reenact that scene, except it was drywall, and I went right through it.
So I'm sorry to hear that. I hope she's okay. When is she getting out of the hospital?
No, it was reversed. She had me. I was the chick, and she was Patrick Swayze, and
got
she
it.
had me just going right through the.
Somehow I always knew that's how it would go with you two.
Well, yeah, she's 6'1".
No wonder you walk funny.
So
Thank you. You notice. I love you. honey.
Meanwhile, okay, let's move on. The bad guy, Brad Wesley, is straight up just
He's
watching.
him. Yeah. He likes to watch.
It cuts across the river, and he's got like a stogie, and it looks like he'd been there a minute.
Yeah, I've been
right?
there a while.
And he's just like, well, look at this.
Yeah.
Swayze's
He
stogie
likes
bigger.
that doc. But now, to be fair, though, Swayze did watch his party.
That's true.
He turned off the lights so he wouldn't be seen.
Yeah, but I would have watched I would have been Swayze too, watching that other party.
watch that party.
Don't lie to me, Charles. You would watch that party with me.
I probably would. 'Cause,
All right, so-
it's interesting to see people party. I'd be like, I don't get invited to parties.
Oh, I love parties. I'd love to be invited to one someday.
I want to go to that party.
So at this point in the movie, which seems insane this far into it to introduce a new character, but this is the point when Wade Garrett shows up.
The man, the myth,
Which
the legend.
we had seen him on the phone earlier, right?
Yeah.
But this is the first time he actually gets to the Double Deuce. He's there to help his friend or his son, because he calls him Miho through the entire
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, you never understood. It's kind of like a father-son, but you never really knew if it was actually.
That probably was on the cutting room floor that extra 2 hours.
Release the cut.
Yeah. So as we're sitting here watching Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze do their thing together, my wife and my daughter, are having a discussion about the two of them, because the first thing he does is he takes Wade like on a double date with his girlfriend or whatever.
You forgot the introduction scene where the beer truck shows
Oh
up.
gosh, yeah, where they have like the most pointless fight ever.
But hold on, the best line.
It is a great
The
line.
best, one of the best lines is from Sam Elliott.
Yes.
I'm not going to show you my dick.
Yeah,
Is
that's such a great line.
I'm not gonna show you my dick.
that, all right. The whole point of that was
the guy starts
just to have a fight for him to come in and show that he
But
can
did
fight.
you watch the big guy as the fight breaks out? The big guy just keeps on smashing the cases for no reason.
Yes, he does. I thought that too.
Yeah, fighting cases.
That's what his job was. He's the only one that did his actual job,
Was
is
to
to destroy the
liquor,
beer, so
yeah.
they couldn't sell it.
Terry Funk is supposed to be this big
I know.
He got his butt kicked within 2 punches every time.
Well, he did
Every
kick him
time.
in the crotch and then the knee.
I know, but look, Patrick Swayze beating Terry Funk in a fight is the most unrealistic thing
I
that
will
happens
say
in
it's
this
very
movie.
that's the most unrealistic thing about it was Terry Funk.
Terry
losing.
Funk would eat Swayze for lunch.
I don't
Terry
know.
Funk would
Swayze
actually-
knows a lot of action stuff.
He literally would take out his appendix, okay? Like with his hand.
There's only one person I saw taking body parts out in this movie. It wasn't Terry Funk.
That was great
Fair
too.
enough.
That's right.
All right. So he takes Wade after they beat up Terry Funk and these idiots and the fat guy again on his date with he literally takes his friend on a date with his girlfriend, and it's weird.
I thought it was kind of nice to hanging out.
I mean, there's
Hadn't seen each other
until
for
they
a
started
while.
until Sam Elliott and Kelly Lynch started dancing, and
Dancing.
all of a sudden you're not really sure
It's,
who she's gonna go home
I thought
with.
that was pretty clever dialogue, actually.
Yeah, right. She says, "This is the point where you're gonna say how great your friend
Yeah.
is."
And he's like, no, this is the point where I tell you I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
I want you. Yeah, I like that.
And the way that they were looking at each other, and he's holding her head, and my wife is in there with my, and I'm like, which one is it going to be? And Dana goes immediately. She goes, Sam Elliott.
I think every woman. I would choose Sam Elliott.
And Grace is like, oh, no way, he's too old. He's too old. Like he's like an old man and all this stuff. And I looked up his age. He was 44 when he made
was.
that.
I know. Isn't that sad?
And Dana, my wife, is 44. And so she goes, see?
See? Yeah.
Great.
Well, he's like, at this point, he was already gray. I mean, some people gray earlier, but he was still, I thought, way more attractive. As a man, I can say this.
He was a man's man.
Way more attractive than Patrick
I don't know.
Swayze.
Patrick Swayze's pretty good looking.
Patrick Swayze is
Oh, you're a
great
Swayze
looking.
guy.
I'm a Swayze kind of.
Patrick Swayze is like
I feel like- I
it's
feel
Channing
like,
Tatum of today.
Yeah.
Or who's the new hot guy today?
Well, if you're looking for hot guys that can dance, it's Channing Tatum, right?
I feel like Sam Elliott would be too rough. with me.
with you.
Yeah.
That's what girls like.
I think Patrick Swayze would be a little
Slam
more.
me on the table, man.
I am not a girl.
Show me all.
I
50
need
states.
gentleness and understanding. I think Patrick could give that to me.
You don't want like a power tool?
No. I need,
Because Sam Elliott's a power
I feel like
tool.
Patrick and I could discuss some philosophy.
Patrick definitely has beta male
hang
energy
out. Yeah.
for sure.
So you're saying you want the ghost experience?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
Soft
awesome. It'd be
hands.
so
He
nice.
always pictured himself as Demi Moore in that
Yeah.
scene with the
I
podcast.
can see Charles as Demi Moore.
Yeah. Making me some pottery.
All right, good Lord. Can we move on? This is when things finally ramp up. Oh my gosh, we're an hour in and it's just now ramping up. Brad Wesley straight up blows up Red's convenience store.
Yeah, poor Red.
Just ba-boom.
That's a big explosion. That cost
Massive fire.
$25,000. That explosion.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's for some of the most expensive things
Lots that blew up.
that and tables, right? Is what
Yeah.
they spent
Special
all their
effects.
money on.
The special effects were good in this movie.
But this dude, Brad Wesley, is so crazy. He blows up this guy's store and then starts hanging out in the bar right next door,
Yeah.
talking mad crap
Yeah.
about Red 2 minutes after it happened.
Yeah.
He's got balls.
He tells his girlfriend, go do a strip tease, basically, sends her on stage to strip. And then
She had underwear on.
she did, the first time, literally. Then
God bless.
See, he's a philanthropist.
He knew what everybody wanted. He gave the people what they wanted.
it was obvious he was trying to
Goat.
goat him because right after that he sends.
Goad, not goat. Goad. I think it's goat.
I think both. I think there was a goat they were going to bring out next was going to be the next thing. They had him leashed up in the back.
Brad,
Okay.
Wesley's a little funky.
If Jimmy's baton twirling thing hadn't worked out,
Is this before or after the stick with the pool cue? The fight with the
This is
pool
it. So,
stick?
so Jimmy, after the strip cheese, Jimmy gets up there. He's like, "Let me do some baton twirling."
Can I just say, if I was the bouncers under the cooler,
Yeah.
I'd be like, no.
another thing.
He's got a
Dalton
dual
sends his
stick,
guys right.
and he obviously knows what he's doing. We're gonna get our butts kicked,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happens to those poor guys.
Dalton looks over at his bouncers, gives them the nod. like,
Yeah,
all right,
and they're
go
like,
take
"All
care
right,
of
we
it."
got it.
But
Which,
then-
by the way, they all now have matching shirts, which I thought was a nice touch.
No,
They've
for
cleaned
sure.
the place
They've
up
cleaned the
enough
place
that
up.
they're
Nice,
wearing Double Deuce
I
label.
did like the fact that
Shirts.
Sam Elliott went over there and started owning Jimmy.
That was great. And Dalton went over. He's like, "All right, good thing I wore my silky shirt and my blue pleated pants today because these are my fighting clothes."
Yeah.
So he didn't help out his bouncers, but he went out and helped out Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
right.
like,
Well, that's
oh,
his
okay.
dad. You can't leave your dad out there.
No, the other
Pa's
guys,
out,
he
needs
was.
help.
If they'd cut back him, he just would have been there giggling as Chunks was getting his butt kicked over there.
Chunk's got no rhythm.
Eventually, the whole fight kind of stops, and things start to unravel here, guys. Like all the businessmen start to meet together, right? They're like, ends up being a pointless meeting that accomplishes nothing, basically just to say we're tired of the Brad Wesley controlling the town, and what are we going to do? We can't do anything. He owns the police. All of that stuff. And Wesley somehow finds out about this meeting because the next scene, he's driving a monster truck through one of the guy's car dealerships.
Which was actually Bigfoot.
That was the Bigfoot
Number
car.
7 generation, I think.
Oh,
they said,
wow.
or something like that. Yeah, was the actual Bigfoot. There was no roof on that building either, so they could do that scene. They broke Bigfoot.
They broke
They had
Bigfoot?
to fix Bigfoot to be able to go on and do the rest of their shows that year.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Well,
One thing that was kind of cool about that scene is, they left the sign in the background there for California.
oh, yeah.
I think, what was it, Van Nuys or something?
Yeah, they're like, this is supposed to be in,
Yeah, in Missouri, but there's a traffic sign saying next exit.
Yeah.
There are no mountains like that in Missouri. No. And there's no farmland like that. It's totally California.
It was all shot in California.
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely. It's like Dukes of Hazzard supposed to be in the South, and it's totally that same
Jasper
area.
is also not a real place.
Jasper is a real place.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, why not just shoot it in Jasper?
I don't know. Probably because there's like 4 businesses, and
They couldn't.
no one would
they
buy.
used
that
all their money on
Wesley.
tables. But we can't go to Jasper.
Can't go to Jasper. We can't. It's too far away. Let's fly over country for these people. So
All right, cut to the most important scene in the movie. Some production assistant just hosed Swayze down in baby oil, and he starts punching stuff in a barn.
Absolutely.
He wasn't even
yeah,
supposed to
that's
punch that stuff.
That's
he just
what
started
men do.
doing
he's
it.
really mad.
That's what men.
I've never seen somebody more glistening in darkness. Like there's no light, and he's
Sweaty?
shining.
He's sweaty and he's hot.
It's baby oil, brother.
That's pretty hot in the summer in Missouri.
That's what men look like when they.
It's called perspiration.
Do you think that was all natural Swayze perspiration?
Well, now that I think about it, perhaps not. I just thought he was really emotional. He's working it through. He's a philosopher. He's
Right.
got
It
to
looks like he was
philosophize
hosed.
on those bags and post.
That's just what happens when dudes work out,
Oh, they sweat baby oil?
Well,
All right. He starts punching stuff around the barn, whatever he can get his hands on. He was all taped up, and then Wade Garrett shows up. He's like, I'm Sam Elliott, and I'm going to give you the talk. It's time to get out of here, mijo.
That's right, mijo.
Yeah,
Right?
time to get out of here, mijo.
We gotta pick up stakes, let this guy win, and we got to turn out to the next town.
That's right.
Man.
Or I'm going to die.
Right. I'm going
to die if we don't get out of here.
And Swayze's like, you want to go ahead and get the F out of Dodge. I'm talking like Sam Elliott with his Swayze, whatever. But basically, he's like, I'm not leaving, right?
No.
Brad Wesley, which he says, now Doc shows up to try and give him the same talk after, well, first, I shouldn't say that because they bro out. They have that moment where he goes to punch Brad Garrett. Brad Garrett.
Wade Garrett.
That's an actor from Everybody Loves Raymond. Imagine if Brad Garrett randomly was in that scene and he's like, hey, brother.
He could have totally been a henchman.
Hey, Raymond. Yeah.
Raymond.
Yeah.
All right, but no, so he tries to punch Wade Garrett and he just catches.
Yeah.
He's got that old 44-year-old strength.
You see, he's got the old man. Do I have that strength?
You might.
I should try that. Elijah, try to punch me.
Yeah.
Go on.
I would do it right now if you want.
Let's try.
You ready?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think we should do that. I'm left.
right.
I'm right-handed anyway.
We've got medical, right?
Yeah.
We do.
We got
So
medical.
after this for our patrons, well, I'll punch Charles in the
Okay,
face.
that'll
and we'll
be
post
fun.
it to our
Yeah.
Patreon.
Insurance here?
Yeah.
All right. So
I've met my deductible, so we're good to go.
they bro out right after he catches his fist. He's like, "I love you, mijo," and then he leaves. We think I thought he left.
He does
town.
leave.
But he doesn't.
He gets
He
caught.
stays in town.
I think he gets caught.
Okay. 2 minutes later, he's still oiled up and greasy, and Doc shows up, right, to try and give him the same talk. Doc is a Kelly Lynch. Well, her name is Elizabeth, but she goes by Doc. And she's trying to give him the same talk to get out Dodge, and he's like, no, man, when Brad Wesley picked me, he screwed up, right? And I'm going to see this
I'm
through.
gonna see it through. But who's going to protect us from you?
Yeah, as far as the writing goes and it being tied to, internal motivation that maybe had been previously established,
Right.
her behavior in the scene between this and the coming fight makes no sense.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Because out of nowhere, right? She's like,
Well-
you think you're going to save the townspeople from him? Who's going to save them from you?
She is a doctor. Maybe she just doesn't like seeing people get hurt.
I guess, but what does she mean?
That's why
Who's
she's
going to
not-
save them from you?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe his anger is out of control. He's afraid. Well, she was a battered wife. Maybe that coming back. She's got some PTSD from that.
And as soon as she screams at Dalton in the background, you see Emmett's house just go gagoosh.
That's
Just
big.
totally explode.
What did Emmett have in there to explode like that?
I don't know, but you know
I think
what?
Emmett maybe making drugs or something.
Emmett's Breaking Bad.
Well, Jimmy is the one that rigged the explosion because he's trying to get away on the slowest
Slowest motorcycle
ever while laughing like a maniacal
Yeah,
crazy
what was
man.
that laugh?
A boy doing half a mile an hour. You can't catch me, Swayze.
Why is Emmett totally fine though? Like his house explodes
that's
and
the
he's
long underwear.
totally fine.
I love that he's wearing long underwear.
Dude, the long
too.
underwear.
Yeah.
Our dad wore long underwear. It was impervious.
Is that what it was that
is.
saved him? Will that
The
save people
pervious
from an
everything.
explosion and a house fire?
Yeah,
No.
Well, you're supposed to wear it tight so it won't catch on fire. So
And
maybe
then-
that helped him.
They haul him out after an explosion. Emmett's totally fine. It blows up again a second time.
Are you
I don't
right,
know.
Emmett? I would be if you get off my chest.
That's right.
I would be if you got me.
Emmett's fine, and then here comes Jimmy.
That was the most. It was the most maniacal laugh. Like what the?
Oh, God.
What's wrong with that guy?
Cue one of the great fight scenes along
Patrick-
the river.
Patrick hits him with a flying Swayze.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
just-
that fight was great.
They all did their own stunts. That fight was great.
That fight was
It
awesome.
really was. I have
have
some
the-
facts on that.
greasy, sweaty fight. Yeah, tell me about
so
it.
here's,
the
here's
moonlight.
facts. So apparently those two didn't get along initially, but when they started that fight and the practice from it, they realized how much they really were into this.
Oh.
And so they really got into it. They developed so much trust, mutual trust, that they improvised a lot and allowed each other to throw real punches and kicks. When Jimmy swings a log at Dalton, Teague mistakenly thought it was a breakable prop log. By the end, Swayze was covered in bruises and had 2 broken ribs and a busted knee.
Yeah, and you say Swayze's not tough.
I didn't say he wasn't tough. I said I don't buy him as like this, like the
just
best
got-
bouncer in the country, like a
This guy
total
got
ass
a
kicker.
log to the ribs.
Seriously, yeah.
Mad respect.
Wasn't that the fight that stopped him from doing other movies afterwards? He ended up
Yes,
doing,
yes, yep. Something happened. He couldn't do a couple other movies, which turned out better because he ended up doing
Right.
Ghost.
Well, that's why he picked
Yeah.
Ghost, right?
Yeah. But I thought the fight scenes were good. All of them actually
all
were
of them
pretty
good.
entertaining.
No, it was good, but they were clearly not trained fighters,
No, but that was what makes it fun.
right? And it's fine. I mean, I have very little criticism about this fight. It was a good fight. shot well.
Coolest finishes ever.
And
Seriously. I'm like, he did the thing with the throat. I'm like, I thought that was just
he did his throat
hyperbole.
ripping fatality, right?
Yeah.
Like from more where you put in the right button combo.
Yeah, the fingers like this we saw when he was about to
Right.
kill the old guy or
And-
Wesley.
But guys, at one point in the fight, he picks up Dalton's face and he says something to him.
The greatest.
The prison?
Apropos of nothing, the most random, unnecessary
great.
piece of information
You just
that's
wanna-
ever been relayed in a fight.
Told you everything to know.
It's great.
I
maybe
used
ever.
to love guys like you in prison.
I used to.
I mean,
I used to F guys like you in prison.
Listen, if there's guys that look like Patrick Swayze in prison, you know this is happening.
But what?
There's guys that don't look like Swayze in prison, you know this is happening.
It's all starting to make sense because
He's jealous
if you
lover.
go back to the beginning
I
of the
want
fight,
you, not Kelly, not Elizabeth Clay, the
he
doctor.
says your ass is mine at the beginning
Oh,
of the
he
fight.
does.
And that takes on a different meaning to me.
Maybe he was trying to come on to him.
You know what?
Aggressive.
Yeah, maybe it was. That right there, that's where you get a fight scene written by a woman.
Is
By
that
a
what it
romance
is?
novelist.
No romance novelist.
Oh my God! You're right. A man never would have wrote that line into that
No.
scene. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, that was an odd line. Apparently, the guy's mom stood up in the theater and cheered that.
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and I've been one of these people that's been out here going, just write memorable dialogue. Like
That's pretty memorable.
at least these movies did that. In the movies nowadays, it's like so bland. The
Maybe
dialogue
he was
is so
supposed
bland.
to say, "I used to f up people like you," and they just
No, he
never
straight
got
up
the
F
line
him up,
right.
but then he
it was
F
like
him
the
up.
best.
He screwed up the line, and the director's like,
That was the best
Even better.
cut we got. Swayze got busted ribs. We can't do it again. We're just going with this. We're just going with this line, guys. And he's like, "Oh crap! They're gonna. What kind of character am I now?"
and kudos to Swayze for just not breaking character
No.
when that.
Well, he couldn't, right? He says they're
Right?
just words put together to elicit a response. This response was going to rip your freaking throat out.
Yeah, and he kills the guy pulls a gun. To be fair,
Yeah, that's true.
Jimmy
That's
pulls a
self-
gun on him and says, "All right, I'm going to kill you this way." He knocks the gun out, rips his throat out, and Doc runs over and is not happy.
No, well, he just killed somebody.
Yeah, but Jimmy just tried to murder Emmett and blew up his
She's
house.
got a conflicted relationship with these bad guys.
I would dump her.
And she's furious that he
would
defended
dump her.
himself. He was going to get shot in the face. What was he supposed to do?
Well, she's got that Hippocratic oath. She's got to
She's
check on
gotta
the guy.
Save lives.
So he should have just let himself get shot instead of killing him.
Well, I think she could have gone and checked to see how he was, but probably not be so mad.
That's fine. I didn't mind that she went and ran into the water and be like, "Is he okay?"
Yeah.
But then she just storms off without saying a
Well,
word.
she just said, "Who's going to protect us from you? You're the throat ripper."
Throat ripper.
What if we're?
Yeah.
She's worried he's going to rip her throat out in the middle of their next love scene.
All right. So there's basically two scenes left. There's a scene now after this where Brad Wesley calls Dalton and says, one of them dies, Wade, Garrett, or Elizabeth. You pick.
Yeah, that was scary.
He won't pick.
won't
So he flips a coin.
I'm going to flip a coin.
And through this like kind of weird fake out where they make him kind
Yeah,
of go that was unnecessary. They could have just had him. They could have had Wade stumble in with a knife in his back.
Yeah.
But Wade ends up getting killed. He discovers him on the bar, splayed out with a knife and a note that said it was Tails.
Tails. I like that part.
The best acting Swayze did in the whole movie was his reactions. That was
good
actually
acting. It
really good.
was. I thought so too. I felt that.
So we're gonna rip him. We got to give him his props when he does good, and that was legitimately good when he's
That was good acting.
shaking and taking the knife, and he real tears coming out of his face.
It was nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt that.
That was good.
I felt that. I would feel that way if someone did that to you, James.
Oh, I appreciate that,
I
Mio.
think I would probably call cops though, and not go vigilante.
You wouldn't just knife your pedal to the floor.
I might, but I also at that point would probably be killed. So I would need to check my emotions and then call cops.
Well, everything changes at this point because at this point, there's like firearms have not been a thing in Roadhouse,
Yeah, all of a sudden.
All of a sudden,
lots of
everybody's got guns.
Yes.
right?
And my biggest problem with this whole scene was, why didn't he use the Buick?
Yeah, he uses his Mercedes.
Why does he use his Mercedes?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a nice car.
Is it possible to knife your
I don't
pedal
think
to
so,
the ground?
actually.
He basically pulls the knife out of Wade, uses it to like impale his pedal to the metal on his Mercedes.
How would you do that?
I don't know. It doesn't make any
Apparently,
sense.
the on the top of the knife was the tails of the coin, a coin. I thought nice. I didn't get it until I read IMDb, and I'm not watching it again to see it. But
The car
interesting.
explodes and crashes
Yeah.
through everything, and it's just a way for him to get in without being
those
noticed.
those cars are super explosive when you shoot shotguns at them.
Super explosive. And when I say get in, assaulting Brad Wesley's mansion, basically, is where it's like the final push.
Yes.
I seen you found my trophy room. The only thing missing is your ass.
I thought that was a weird line too.
Can you imagine?
Why is everybody so interested in his ass?
He wanted to mount his ass.
Can you,
I know, and I'm picturing that actually happening, and I'm like, wow, that
can you
could
imagine
actually
his
be
ass
there.
mounted between a gazelle and a deer?
There's a giraffe in that. Who kills giraffes?
This is a lovely room of death.
He's a bad guy.
It'd be in a frame, nice and flat.
It would. Nice and flat like his chest.
It would. He'd have to get a jackhammer to get the thing off. It's made out of concrete.
Well, maybe he'd be bending over.
Who knows? It just be on the other side of the wall is the rest of him.
Just mold him into the carbonite. Just carbonite his ass into the wall.
All right. So he's walking around inside, and Terry Funk gets taken out off camera.
That pissed me off. I hate when
How did he
movies
get
do
killed off
that.
camera?
You don't. Well,
You don't
all of
see
a
what
sudden he's walking
happens.
around. There's like 3 dead guards, and they don't show.
I forgot I was watching Hollow Frickin' Ween. I was watching a horror movie and we just don't show anything. Like,
Right.
why do you do that? You build up. That's what drives me nuts about movies. I'm just gonna go on a tirade.
Do it.
Go for
You
it.
build up a frickin' character like one of the villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't show what the
gotta
frick
show.
happens
That's right.
with them.
You gotta
That's
show
right.
it. You gotta show the
Show it.
payoff.
Oh, use your imagination, you pea brain. No, show it.
What if they did film it and it just wasn't very convincing?
I bet that's what happened. They had like
You
an
know,
hour
you-
more
you-
footage.
Oh, maybe it was
Dude.
crappy footage. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have just kicked him into the fish tank full of piranhas, and he just had eaten alive, or you could have like dropped a grenade in his pants,
Kill him,
kicked him down
have
the
him
stairway,
fall on a bison horn or something.
or take a blender and somehow it's still plugged in and blend his head. I don't know. There's
that
many
sounds
different
very.
ways.
We do see him take out 2 guys. There's the guy with the shotgun that
Those are lame.
Swayze kicks the shotgun and then stabs him and says tails again. Right, like, okay.
yeah.
Lame death.
His catchphrases were stupid. Then he pushes a polar bear on
was
top
great.
of the fat guy.
I love
That
And
guy
his-
was awesome.
The acting in his reaction shot as the thing is teetering. First of all, don't move or anything. Just
Well,
sit
he's
there.
kind of a big guy.
He goes,
Maybe he can't. Yeah, like this.
He's
It's like
afraid of
Scooby
polar
Doo.
bears.
There's a ghost. The
hate
bear's
this
coming
room.
after me.
I hate this room.
and the bear doesn't even really fall on him, right? Because
No.
he wakes up like a second later, like, oh, I'm totally fine. And it's eventually just down to him and Brad Wesley,
He
right?
does throw a knife at his nephew.
And I think the biggest mistake. Oh yeah, he gets pat in the stomach with a knife too.
Yeah.
That was another lame death.
The biggest mistake Wesley made is he wore pleated pants in the scene.
There's
And I'm like, now you messed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swayze wants his pants back.
He's like, only one guy.
Only I can wear the
my
pleated
God.
pants.
Only the pleats for Swayze, please.
Yes.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is over. And you're right. There's a theme emerging with these bad guys that's uncomfortable. But I thought the fight was really lame between the 2 of them. You thought it was pretty good?
No, I probably didn't.
I thought his demise was great.
I know his demise was fine,
Demise was
but
great.
But it's like Dalton shouldn't be struggling with this guy.
No, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
No, he should.
Right?
And I didn't think Wesley would be excited to fight him like that either.
No.
He's like, I was looking forward to this. I thought
This should have been something where he just took him apart. And I know they tried to even the odds by like he gets shot in the shoulder or whatever, but even with one arm, he should have been able to take this guy apart. He's like chucking spears at him and then beating him with, and like, I'm like, what did Dalton forget how to fight?
I don't know. I'd be dodging. I'd be ducking for
Well,
some
he was
spears.
shot.
You got to duck, dip, dodge, dive, and duck or whatever.
Right? You can dodge a spear. You can dodge a ball.
Dodge a ball. Yeah, man. And but out of nowhere, and I literally mean this. I know that's a figure of speech, but out of nowhere. All 5 of the business owners in town manifest in the room,
Shoot him with guns. They get the guns from the guys that got killed?
or from his trophy room, or I mean, I don't
where
know.
does Red take those guns?
The toilet. He flushes them down the toilet.
Yeah, I think so. And does he?
the
None of them are
police
wearing gloves or anything. I'm like, does Red go back there and real quick wipe them all off?
This is the stupidest thing that happens to end the movie is
I actually liked how it ended, but it's dumb if you
they all take shots. So all the individual business owners. First of all, Swayze was going to get killed. Like the fact that they needed these guys to save Dalton from Wesley was stupid. But all of them take turns blowing this guy away, and they use the most biggest, grossest squibs they had of access to.
He was pretty tough, that Wesley guy. Took a lot of pretty close shotgun shots to the body and kept going.
But just the idea that the police would show up 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Well, like, do you guys see anything?
So that's actually like true story.
What?
Yeah, there's
That whole thing at the end there with the whole I didn't see nothing. No, did you see something? No. That's kind of what this whole movie was based on.
This was a true story?
So it was based on a true story, allegedly, with this story about there was this tyrant business guy and everybody fought back and killed him in broad daylight and nobody saw anything.
Yeah.
That was the initial thought for the movie.
Okay, that's fine. And I got to imagine the facts of that case maybe were a little bit different when there's 5 dudes standing in a room with a shot up corpse.
Right.
Like the cops would just be like, okay, well then you're just all arrested and we're all going to go back to the station and we're going to be interrogated and we're going to figure this out.
But
right?
we learned the cops were corrupt.
Yeah.
So they're not going to turn against the guys because then they could bring the FBI in and he'd get in big trouble.
I'm sure the FBI is coming in anyway with 15 bodies in this town.
There's
The
a
problem
lot
is
of
the
dead
whole
people.
thing is so implausible. The whole idea behind this movie that any of this would happen
And the
and
Wesley
play out the
character
way it
was
did.
so bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
What? There's a scene in this movie too, kind of middle, where Wesley's driving down the road drunk, and he almost runs him off, and then he goes.
I forgot about that.
He goes to the auto store. It's the first time I think we meet Red.
Yeah.
And then Wesley comes and he's completely sober.
Oh, he
He's got
wasn't
his
drunk.
henchmen.
No, he was just an a-hole.
Oh, you think so? I think
He was just weaving around. Life could be
But
a
he was going the
dream.
opposite direction. Did he just immediately turn around and say, "Oh, I need to go see Reds and go pick up my henchmen"?
Because they end up at the same place.
They seem at the same place within a few
minute.
minutes.
You're right. That doesn't make
I was
any
very
sense.
confused.
All right, this whole thing is a farce now. Thanks. That seals it.
Completely unbelievable.
I like the line. When I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Tinker? A polar bear fell on me.
That was good. I laughed for that one too. A polar bear fell on.
Polar bear
Polar
fell
bear
on me.
fell
Credits.
That's good.
Well, not credits because first you got to get Swayze
There's
naked diving into a
there's
lake,
some happy scenes at the end.
and they are swimming around nude.
He's going to stay with Elizabeth Clay. And
Yeah, why is the
little
old
cute
guy
babies.
watching them?
Why
I
not?
don't know why anything. Why does anything happen in this movie?
Yeah.
It's time, you guys. It's time to do what we always do, and that is give the movie some awards.
This movie got nominated for some Razzie stuff.
Oh, good. Well, we're going to give it some more awards.
Actually, it's down in. It's listed as the 100 most enjoyably bad movies ever made in Golden Raspberry Award founder John Wilson's book, The Official Razzie Movie Guide.
Well, that means nothing compared to the BMR awards
Right.
it's
It was
about to get.
5 Golden Raspberry Awards: Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, Worst Actor Patrick Swayze, Worst Supporting Actor Ben Gazzara, and it didn't win any categories.
What is that?
That's your paper.
Oh, that's my paper
That's your paper.
that I threw on the ground.
Did you bite it?
No, it just got caught under a chair.
I thought Bob-
All right, so
Bob's pre-workout eating over there.
if you're new to the show, this is typical behavior from Bob. But what's also typical is after we've talked through the movie, we give it some awards, and the first award is an important one.
Yes. Oh, this is exciting.
We start, as we
gotta
always
work through
do,
the production
with
quality of
the
this one.
Will Patton Award for intensity.
He's so
Hi, Will.
big. He's so intense.
Look at how intense this
intense.
is.
So gorgeous.
Right?
Look at that big head.
Can I touch it?
He wants to know, Bob.
Oh, how
All right, that's enough.
that must
That's a little weird, Bob.
Will Patton,
Did you F guys like that in prison?
If I was only given a chance.
Will Patton is the most intense actor to have ever acted in anything, okay? And so this is why we named the award after him. Look at this face. This was literally him like eating breakfast in the morning, okay? This is how he looks.
That's just
all right?
that's so intense. I'm scared. We need to put that away. I'm frightened. I'm frightened by him. He's too much. Too much intensity.
Will wants to know. We'll just peek out over this.
Oh, he's coming for me.
Will wants to know who is the Will Patton Award winner for this movie. The actor in the film that gave it the most intensity, took it the most serious,
Went
even
all
though
out.
they went all out, even though they were in a ridiculous movie. Who do you got, Bob, as your Will Patton Award winner?
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
All right, man. The way he grabbed that final paycheck out of that guy's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
The
was
way he
really
grabbed that guy
intense.
over boobs.
One of the best lines about him was when Carrie Ann said, "Oh, don't mind Morgan. He was born in just got bigger."
That's right. Mel, who you got for your Will Patton?
I got Marshall Teague as Jimmy.
Jimmy gets a vote.
Jimmy was pretty good.
Jimmy was.
I mean, just that him riding away on the motorcycle, that was intense.
He was definitely emotionally invested.
whopping
Yes.
1 mile an hour.
I am going with Morgan Terry Funk also.
Terry Funk.
Yes.
Yeah.
as
I
well.
was really into
Charles
that.
and I agree on
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
All right. I actually gave mine to Sam Elliott as
Oh,
Wade
really? All right.
Garrett. I
Wow.
thought he was definitely dialed in.
in.
I thought he was really, really good. JP Dozier It's John Paul Dozier. I don't know if anybody calls him JP. Hopefully you're okay with that, bud. But he went with Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley.
I had him too, but I thought Terry was right up there too.
So he was a great villain, really made you hate his character. But that means that with 2 votes, Terry Funk is going to win the
Funk.
Will Patton Award for intensity.
He was intense.
Terry Funk takes home the Will Patton.
He was
Add that to your resume.
That's right.
He was intense in every scene he was in.
The next award is
But we don't know how intense he was when he died.
No, we don't, because we never got to see that. Show things.
Yes. Especially the bad guy, the main sort of
show
annoying
bad guy.
Right. The next award we give out is the Michael Dudikoff Trash Can Full of Dirt Award.
Trash can full of dirt.
Hold on, Mel. Bob, go get the trash can full of dirt, will you? And just pull it up
We're gonna pull it
in front
up front.
between these two. Don't knock over the tripods, but do it.
Pods. Here we
This
go.
is our very high production value.
It's a nice trash can. I feel like Oscar should be in there though.
No, Bob, put it in front.
Well, can people see it in front?
Yes, right there.
Oh,
No,
okay.
right
Right there.
As
At
close
the
as you
table.
can without hitting the tripod.
We should have practiced.
Thank
this.
you.
Oh, look at a little shot of
Thank
Bob
you.
Hauser's.
All right.
I'm going to mount that on my wall.
All right. This is taking way longer than it needs to.
That was very entertaining.
Ta-da. It's a trash can.
Can they see it?
I don't even
On the
see
main
it.
one, they're not going to see it on these cameras, guys. They're pointed towards us.
There's a trash can down.
Good Lord. You'd have to set it here on the table
I
for them
know.
to see it.
I
Help
know.
here.
Well, so can they see my legs underneath? Because I've been doing weird things under there.
Yeah, they can.
We may need to do some editing, boys.
You guys can
All
look
right,
at my
who do
legs
you get?
anytime.
So this is the award that we give out to the actor who portrayed the acting range of that thing right there, a literal stationary trash can full of dirt. Who is the essentially worst actor in the movie to you, Bob?
Worst actor in the movie?
Yeah,
Come back to me.
I'll come back to you. Mel, who you got?
I got Brad Wesley.
Brad Wesley.
Ben Gazzara.
Ben Gazzara.
Really? You put him as your trash can?
Yeah. I mean, they could have put anybody in there.
Think so?
They could have put the trash can of dirt in there.
You think that? Oh, that's an interesting pick.
Who you got?
I got Emmett. He was terrible.
Emmett, the
Sunshine
farmer.
Parker. He was awful.
Wow.
He was terrible.
Okay.
I hated
Okay.
that guy's character.
I had Kevin Teague, the guy that owned the Double Deuce.
Oh, I thought he was all right.
He was just so vanilla and
I know,
nothing.
but I thought he was going to turn out to be bad, and he turned out to be good.
There was even a couple times where
He was
you could tell
pretty
he was
bad.
trying to muster up the. Well, I'm saying it now, and it was like, dude, you're just a joke, bro.
He was
I
pretty jokey.
didn't. I thought he was terrible.
See, I think he did well as a passive
Yeah, I thought so,
owner.
No,
I thought he did.
Not to me, but John Paul Dozier went with Marshall Teague. Jimmy he said was the worst in the movie.
Jimmy.
Called him a pointless goon. He said his sole purpose was to fight Swayze so he could use his throat-ripping fatality.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong in
Fair
that.
enough.
That
He's
is
not
true.
wrong.
Other than that, he serves no purpose in the movie. So,
Well,
Bob,
beat up the bouncers with the pool cue.
Yeah.
Or stick or whatever.
you're going to have to be our
cute?
tiebreaker here. So we have 4 votes. We had Ben Gazzara. We had Emmett, the
Sunshine
farmer.
Parker.
Sunshine Parker. We had Kevin Teague and Kevin T and Marshall Teague. Who is going to be the tiebreaker?
All right.
Those guys all
So
have fake sounding names.
early on, I said the Hot Babe Award winner will go to Julie Michaels for
Yeah,
Beanies.
we're gonna get to the hot guy thing after. Stick to the Dudikoff trash can full of dirt. Don't go to the hot guy thing yet.
Okay.
Okay, is that what you're gonna do?
I was going to combine it.
Oh, don't.
Don't, yeah.
You got
We
to
got
give
it
me
one
script
thing at a
then.
time. We got a script. We're
Who's the
talking
trash
about the
can?
trash can
You
full
got to
of
give me a
dirt.
script then.
that
We're
you
talking-
literally
there's
put
no
in front of the
script.
table.
You can't talk about that now. That's at 53 minutes and 43 seconds. Okay, sorry.
We're talking about. You already gave out the one
know.
award an hour before
Yeah,
you're supposed to.
Give me just what's the timeline? When can I say
We're
something?
having some
How many
sibling
episodes have you
dynamics
been
going
in?
on here.
Have you been in?
Around.
You've been in 35 episodes.
All right.
I'm just messing around.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Who is the trash can full of dirt winner?
Swayze.
Patrick
Really?
Swayze. Okay,
Swayze.
but then we're not. We have to figure out a winner. I was supposed to be a tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
All right.
I guess it has to be who would lose in a fight
All
at
right.
that
So
point.
somebody's got to change their vote then.
I
You
ain't
said
changed
because
mine.
we have to have a winner. We have 5 votes for 5 guys. So
this-
who feels the least strong about
You
their?
did Gazzara.
So the show
Who
does
did
need to
you
be
do?
scripted.
It's not scripted. It's now it's a
did you-
matter of debate.
Who did you pick?
I pick the
Fine,
owner of the Double
I'll
Deuce.
change my vote.
No, if you feel like Swayze is the worst actor,
As far as worst actors goes, yeah, it was just Yeah.
Okay.
He was just
And who did
Swayze. He was a
John
body.
Paul
He
pick?
showed up and threw his kicks in.
He picked Jimmy. He picked Marshall Teague.
I mean, do we just give it to
I'm not
John
changing-
Paul Dozier?
I'm not changing mine. Emmett was the worst. Someone
worst?
should change to the Teague.
All right.
I'll change it to T.
I don't feel like my
Five-way tie?
I didn't feel strongly about mine. I looked at it and had a hard time figuring out because I thought for the most part, even though it was stupid, a lot of people did okay.
I thought Emmett
That's what was hard for me.
I thought
I had to pick
Emmett's
somebody.
lines were the same every single line. He had no emotion. He had the range of a trash can full of dirt. His character was likable, but he was not a good actor.
I agree. I can't agree with John Paul Dozier because I don't think Jimmy was the worst actor in the movie.
No.
So
No one can deliver. The
I also
greatest
don't
line.
think Swayze was.
No,
So
I don't either.
you guys both make decent points, but I think I'll change my vote to Emmett.
All right, good, because that's the right answer.
The poor guy had 4 lines.
Sunshine Parker probably had a great career, but he did not have
had
it on
4
this one.
lines.
He was starstruck by
He had
Patrick
4
Swayze,
lines.
and they were all delivered
All him
poorly.
had a beard.
They were bad.
How would you deliver them?
He was
right.
the emotional. He was the heart of the place where they lived.
Do Emmett. Give me the Emmett's 4 lines right
I don't
now.
know
How
what
would
they
you
were.
deliver them? How would you deliver
Anyway.
them?
Do
better.
the elevator in an outhouse line.
Oh, well, I have to read it because I'm not good at remembering stuff.
It just says it's
That's
like
about as
putting
pointless as
don't
elevator
call me
and
sir.
Oh,
It's like
are you
putting
all
an-
right, Emmett? I would be all right if you just get off of me.
I feel like that was better than what Emmett
better.
did.
Really?
And I am
All
not an
right.
actor.
You think that was
Yeah,
better?
That was.
Oh,
so
let's see
bad.
yours, Bob.
What's seen by what?
Do Emmett.
Do Emmett?
Can you do it better?
I feel better if you just get off and become closer. I gotta tell you something.
That was the parody movie they made of this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this. I'm
Your
doing the third-
nunchucks are digging into my hip.
I'm doing Roadhouse 3, The Return of Emmett.
Emmett supposedly can't be killed because he survives a house explosion.
He's in
without
Roadhouse 3.
without a singed hair.
Yeah,
They,
Emmett was
they went to Roadhouse 2, which was a crappy 2006 sequel with nobody nobody in it that anybody knew.
Yeah,
And then-
Yes.
Wanted to do.
Are you kidding?
Who's in it? Will Patton
Will
is in
Patton is in number 2.
Oh my!
Is he really?
goodness.
Yes.
Bob.
No way.
Will's in
Bob,
2?
I'm no way.
Yes. As is the Busey
You
kid.
disrespected Will Patton.
Wait.
Oh my! You got patented.
Get Patton, son. That's right. And if you want the strap, you have to take it from me. Okay.
I almost spit out my tea all over our fancy set.
I just got past.
Those are really. I'm gonna move these because this keeps causing trouble. I had no
right.
idea that belt would come into so much play today.
Sorry, Terry Funk got me in a wrestling.
Yeah, we got some machoism going on in this movie. It's oozing out of this movie into the set.
Oh my God.
All right.
Testosterone.
All right,
Bob, who wins the Rain Award? Now, Rain, for those of you who
Oh,
don't
that's
know,
right. Bob's Rain Award.
was the Ninja Assassin star, and
guy.
we made him give out a Hot Dude Award if he's going to do the Hot
I'm
Babe.
comfortable giving out a Hot Dude Award. So
All right.
Julie Michaels, Hot Babe, Hot Dude goes to Swayze. That's a
was.
no
Over Sam Elliott.
Yeah, it's a no brainer. You gotta think.
Telling you, Swayze's the guy.
Yeah, Swayze's the guy. Elliot's good for a pile driver night in bed. Swayze's good for a Kenny.
He doesn't like gray pubes.
We have derailed.
I just snorted.
Shut up, Richard.
We have derailed.
This is
That's it. I quit. I
This
can't
is
do
scary.
this anymore, man.
Do you validate?
You know, the accounting office below us.
yeah. That,
Wondering what the hell.
that flower lady, you just knocked over her flowers. Oh
All
my
right.
God.
So
okay.
Sam Elliott is definitely
Maybe we
hotter
shouldn't
than
have our
Patrick
own
Swayze.
space.
Our studio lasted one day, folks. It's been great. It's been real, and it's been real fun. But let's get to the top 3 performances. So
Performances.
these are the people, not necessarily that were the best performers. It's subjective. It's just the 3 that you enjoyed the most.
Yes.
So Mel, do you want to start us off?
I'll start us off.
Okay.
Kelly Lynch, I went for number 3.
All right.
All right.
I mean, she had some talent.
There's no explanation.
She showed us her
necessary.
talent.
She had the best tan lines.
Yes. Like I said, she showed us her talent, which is always good.
It's the 7th time you've mentioned her talent.
That's the best part about her.
Number 2, and I say number 2 for a reason.
Okay.
I went with John Dalton
Okay.
because he's the second best, and I thought he'd be bigger.
Okay.
And number 1, Wade Garrett.
Wade Garrett,
Because
number 1. Sam Elliott.
by far nationally known as the best.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
He's the best.
Even Dalton said he was the best.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Charles, who you got?
I got Patrick Swayze's 3. His crying scene really won me over.
Okay.
Red West as Red Parker.
Wow, number 2.
I really thought of all the actors, he actually was probably actually pretty good. And
He was the most natural.
he was the most natural. I'm like, he should probably have been in a different movie.
There you go.
And then I went with Ben Gazzara, Brad Wesley.
Number 1.
Yeah, number 1. I liked him
You
as a bad
just
guy.
liked how smarmy he was.
Yeah,
and-
he played that. You're like,
good.
he was crazy.
Yeah, so John Paul Dozier went with Red West as number 3. Said he actually always reminded him of a neighbor he had growing up.
Oh, interesting.
That he was a great guy, but he could be a smart ass at times.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Did
there
he
you go.
kill anybody?
I hope not. He with number 2, he went with Swayze's well-toned ass.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. He said Sunshine Parker as Emmett. He had number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
We got different perspectives. But
Love you,
hey,
Dozer.
I liked his beard.
And he said now Bob loves Dozier.
I love Dozier.
He said now anytime anybody ever calls him sir, he uses the outhouse line in his real life.
That was a good line.
That was good.
I can't remember it, but it was good. Something about elevator.
So it's like an elevator and outhouse don't belong.
Don't belong. That is true.
And number 1 he gave to Swayze. He says, how could you not be number 1?
Swayze. I thought Swayze was good in this.
Honorable mention to Jeff Healy as Cody. He loved his music. That was the musician, the blind musician.
He was good.
And he goes, I
really
might get
blind?
crap for not including Sam Elliott. He didn't include Sam Elliott in any of his awards or lists or anything.
He went blind at 18 months.
So he was legitimately blind.
And he legitimately
Not
played that
knocking
band.
blind people, because I know sometimes they hire actors for
No. He was not acting. That was
legitimacy.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I thought that was cool.
That
to have
makes
a blind
him.
guy in
That
there.
makes me like him even better.
Yeah.
I think it's
More.
funny how John Paul Dozier says, how could you not have Swayze number 1? And I literally don't have him in my top 3 at all. Okay.
Fair enough.
I think that is fair.
Number 3, I had Terry Funk.
Yes.
I thought they did him dirty in this movie. He needed more screen time. He needed to be a bigger part of things. He doesn't know how to hold a gun. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
He had this tiny gun. It was like this. It was like,
He could
3.5 inches long, and his whole body is like moving this thing around like it's a 50 cal. So it's number 3. Number 2, I had Kelly Lynch. I thought, okay, yes, she was great, but she actually was also a really great actress. She's still working today. She's doing lots of quality stuff. She's
How are
really good in this
tan lines?
movie too.
She was
I don't
not
know.
very good in this movie, though.
She was terrible.
I thought she was. I thought she
Thought
was.
so?
Yeah, I thought she did fine. Nobody was like giving an Oscar level performance, but I enjoyed her performance. And number 1, Sam Elliott. Come on,
Sam
I
Elliott.
ain't gonna show you my dick.
who do you got as your top 3, Bob?
Number 3, Terry Funk.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to try and tell me whether it was a bad movie that ruled already or something. You're actually going to do your top.
You're funny.
We shouldn't be allowed to sit next to each other.
Separation.
All right, seriously, who's your top 3? Number 3, you had Terry Funk.
Number 3, Terry Funk,
Okay.
for all the same reasons that James said.
Good.
Number 2, Julie Michaels. Thank you for the dance. Thank you for the rewind material. I greatly appreciate it. You're gorgeous.
What were we saying about 40-year-old Al?
Yeah, I know. He would have fit right in with the old
No,
Double
you're not 40 yet. You're not
okay.
40 yet.
Double Deuce. Double Deuce.
We love you, Bob.
As
All hate mail for Bob should be directed to thisshowIstrash@gmail.com.
Hey, if you're a shovel in the face award person, I mean, send me the hate mail. But she's not. She's a hot babe award.
All right, who's your number 1?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. All right, nice. Rock and roll.
there you go.
Do you guys think Arnold would have made this movie better?
By a landslide.
Yeah.
By a landslide. Well, he certainly would be more believable as the best bouncer in the country.
No, he
Right?
couldn't have played Swayze's part.
You don't think he could have been Swayze?
No.
You don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger could play a
No.
part? He could play any part Patrick Swayze's ever played.
Because here's why.
He could have been the
Swayze
ghost. He
fit-
could have been the dirty dancer. He could have been the guy that drives the truck in that one movie with the
Can you
thing.
imagine him in Ghost? He'd be like some golfer. In
That would have.
No one puts baby in the corner.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
I've had the time of
look,
my life.
Look, the point of Patrick Swayze's character was he was a philosopher, cooler bouncer guy.
Now, if you how about
He
this?
did not use his strength and
What if you just
weight,
add
his presence.
Schwarzenegger? Add a third cooler. Like he's the cooler in Jamaica.
I think
they had
I
to
think
call
Arnold,
Schwarzenegger in.
I think Arnold needed to
from
be a bad
Jamaica.
guy. I think he could have been Wade. That'd be awesome to see
Wade?
Arnold and Patrick fight and get his throat pulled out.
Arnold's not the old broken guy though, right?
No.
Oh, I
he's
said
actually he
was
went
in
Wade.
1989.
No,
No, he's awesome.
he went in that age. Arnold was 2 years younger than Sam Elliott, so he'd been 42.
Yeah. He could have been a good
But he
Wade.
didn't look. The reason it works with Sam Elliott is he looks like he's 54.
Do Miho in your Arnold voice.
I love you, mijo.
See how great that would be? That'd be so great.
I'm not going to show you my penis.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here. Why are you looking? Why are you trying to look at me like that?
He's
That's
the
right.
greatest. He's the best bouncer.
All right. Regardless, literally, you could put
could
him
have
in
also
Kelly
been
Lynch's
Morgan.
part, and this movie would have still been better. So
I would
could have
love
been
to see
It's
Morgan.
a very different movie if he had been in Kelly.
Well, it seemed like it was theming that way,
yeah.
Would have broken the rocks.
for sure.
Oh, absolutely. They went right through.
All right.
that.
Guys, we got to settle on a final rating here for this movie. So this is where we marry the objective to the subjective. So did you think it was a bad or good movie, full stop, without a qualifier? Was it a bad movie that rules? What do you guys think? Where do you land on this movie, Bob?
It's a bad movie that rules.
Okay. You think there's enough redeemable about it? Maybe not redeemable is the right word, but enjoyable about it.
Yeah, there's enough enjoyment. There's enough for all ages of the family.
Okay.
As long as you skip a few parts for some of the family.
Definitely not a family movie. Do not turn this
Don't show
on
this
if
to
your
your
family is in the
Yeah,
room.
I had to watch this last night and this morning so I could avoid my family.
Yeah.
Certain people.
Did you watch this with your
Glad I
wife?
warned you.
I did not. She would not have liked this. She doesn't like swearing. In that first scene where they tried to get the most F words of all varieties in the shortest amount of time, which I bet would be a Guinness Book of World Record, she would not have liked.
She would not have liked that. No.
No. Now she might have, Patrick Swayze may have persuaded her. I've never asked her what she thinks of Patrick Swayze. That's
Well,
a
let's
good
find
conversation
out.
for tonight.
Have her write in.
Yeah.
Mel, who you got?
You know, I look at that and I didn't think there was really that much swearing in it.
Yeah, I didn't even hear that much stuff.
I guess
In the
it's
very
just-
whole
beginning.
movie was full of it.
Oh, I
Was
guess
it?
it's just when you're used to it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't use a lot of swear words in my line of work.
I'm gonna go with a bad
Hell.
movie that
Damn.
rules.
Bad movie that rules.
Kind of
Seems like barely.
very meh.
Yeah. So I'll leave Charles and Posure. John Paul Dozier. I'm not trying to call you a poser, I promise. I'll leave them the final word, but I'm in the same boat. It's not, there is enough originality and enjoyable parts to say, I can't just say it's just a straight up bad movie,
Right.
but it's not one that I'm like super excited to go watch again. So I'll say bad movie that rules a little begrudgingly.
There are people that like live their lives based on this movie.
Peter Griffin
I feel sorry.
Right.
is one of them.
Grass Lake Road. Another one.
The girls skimming Grass Lake Road. Yeah, for sure. All right, who you got, Charles?
Okay, so I never knew much about the bouncer life before this movie. And after this movie, I
still
really
don't.
care that I know anything about the bouncer life. I thought this movie was too slow. I don't care about clubs and bouncers.
Yeah.
And over the top small town politics. I thought it did have pretty decent fight scenes.
Yeah.
That was a pretty boring movie. I think it's a bad movie.
Just
I will
straight up
not-
bad.
I will not watch this again.
No, so it was pretty boring. I think that's the biggest thing. And we didn't get a lot of time to get into this because we had to zoom through a lot of information. But it sounded, as we talked through it, like a lot of stuff was happening. But there are big stretches where it's like, what are we doing here?
Can you
guys?
imagine if this was 3 hours, which is what they had the original cut?
No way. It was already almost 2 hours, which is a crime against humanity.
If it was probably an hour and a half, it might have been okay.
Well, they didn't cut Julie Michaels' dance scene, so I'm
No,
happy
they
about
didn't.
That.
John Paul Dozier says this is absolutely a movie that rules. He didn't even say a bad movie that rules.
Wow.
He just says
good movie.
he's saying this is a straight up good movie.
This is a bad movie.
So well casted, even the extras did well. The story was very well written. All right, John.
He's got to be.
What are you doing, John?
He's got to be. This has got to be a joke.
I don't think it is. He told me before he wrote this review that he's watched it 4 times recently.
Did he suggest this film?
He was one of the people that voted on it.
Well, then maybe he likes it.
Thank
That's
you,
okay. It's
Dozier.
subjective.
Thank
you can
you.
like.
He says it ranks high on his list of favorite movies.
well
to watch.
written.
Yeah, that's you had me till there.
I mean, I had some laughs.
The concept is really
Because
good.
some of the stuff you liked is subjective, but when you say it's well written, that's almost like an objective claim of quality there. And
There's probably 5 quotes that I thought were pretty clever.
yeah. Well, boys and girls, we thank you for joining us.
That's
We are we're going to be check out the YouTube channel for some more content coming your way, and we just appreciate you spending some time with us here on Bad Movies Rule. So tone in. I'm a professional. Tune in to the next episode where we are going to be talking about Green Lantern,
Green Lantern.
the Ryan Reynolds movie from the 2011?
2011. Yeah.
2011. And not only will we be talking about a Ryan Reynolds movie, we are going to be convening the Rybunal for the first time ever.
Whoa, is that possible?
All 3 Ryans will
might
be
be-
here in the room
that might
Oh
be
God,
dangerous.
everyone's heads are gonna explode.
talking about a Ryan movie,
Ryan movie.
and then I'll be there. But yeah, otherwise, it's going to be good. So check us out next week, guys. We appreciate you thank you for listening.
Thanks
On
for
behalf
listening
of
and watching.
Charles and Mel, you got something?
Is this where we bounce now?
Now we're going to cool potty. We're going to cool off and then we're going to bounce. On behalf of Bob Hauser and Mel and Charles, I'm James. Thank you for listening. You know, this is going to be the last time we use this music. Next episode, we're going to have new music.
Well, just like in the movie, it gets worse before it gets better.
That's good. That's the Swayze right there.
Just don't